Colleagues, my name is Alex Mascot Ikwechehg, and I represent the artisanal people of Aba North and Aba South in this incorruptible assembly.
To my understanding. Barrister Juliet, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the 1MMC crew for accepting the invite and being here. So, Marfa, you were the first person here. So, I'm hoping that with the discussion that we will have today, we will come more and more to the realization that Nigeria is not heading in the right direction. Though this may be something that we've all been talking about over time. But when a lawmaker goes to this length to disrespect and insult a young man only trying to make a living, it's sad. That's just the least I can say for now. I'm sorry, I'm lost for words. Barrister Juliet, like I said, welcome once again. Maybe by the time you give your opening speech, I will be able to put myself back together. I've watched this video 3, 4, 5 times over the day, and somehow I still cannot wrap it around my head. What I've been hearing. Insane crimes. A man like that right now will be suspended from the parliament to start with. Insane crimes, you will have the ethics committee, I believe, having a sitting and possibly a press conference to address what happened. You will have him suspended from the political party he's representing. I don't think I've heard or seen anything of that nature until now. And that begs the question, how is our democracy doing? Thank you all so much for joining the 1MMC. My name is Tony. I'll soon be switching to my personal handle, and we can continue the conversation from there. Madam Integrity, it's so good to see you and have you here. I hope we will be able to have a very enlightening conversation this evening. Barrister Juliet, welcome once again, or welcome back once again to the 1MMC. It's good, really, really good to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us to help us walk through the legal, rubicles of the House of Parliament now, and what actually should be what should be doing actually regarding this young man. But let me leave it at that for now. Barrister Juliet, please, you may please go ahead and give a welcome address before we move to integrity, and we take it up from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone on the space. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Mr. Tony, and to the 1MMC crew for the invite. The topic itself was something that was so difficult to ignore, even with my tight schedule and everything going on. I just needed to actually come here, and I also appreciate the honors that you've given to me to actually be speaking on the space. Once again, thank you. And to everyone, welcome.
All right, thank you so much. Madam Integrity, you just heard an altercation between a young man and a lawmaker. At least that's his status as of now. Let's hear your take. What do you think? What was your feeling when you heard that?
Hi, is that Tony?
Yes, this is
Okay,
Tony.
okay. Hi, Tony. I'm not very familiar with your voice yet. What do you call it? I'm used to Magnific Dude being the host. So yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for having me. Hope you had a good weekend, and hi everybody. Um, yeah, I was about to sleep. The last night my time when I saw. I think it was when you guys were when the people in Nigeria were waking up, and I was so livid. I couldn't sleep until about 2 a.m. Because first of all, I hate oppression. I can't stand oppression. It does not make sense. And it's so rampant in a place like Nigeria. Dad, do you know who I am? There is an average Nigerian talking points. You see, we cannot separate that lawmaker's attitude from the general culture and mentality of Nigerians. The average Nigerian is lives in a very warped world. Little money, they think they are bigger than God. A little power, tiniest level of power, they, overblow it, take it to a different level. And when I say the average Nigerian, we're all guilty of it. Because these things happen around us. And I'm not sure if it is orientation or how we are raised or just, I don't get it. I don't get it. So his attitude was screaming because he's a lawmaker. I mean, first of all, he even lied. He said he was a senator. He doesn't even know what he is. He doesn't even know his title. And then much later, I guess when he realized it was on video, he now, in Nigeria too, being a senator is higher than being a House of Rep person. So he's also part of that mentality. He wasn't even proud enough to even, his either he wasn't proud enough to say who he was, his title, or he didn't even remember what he was because he's not part of what is going on there. He's just there to fill the seat and oppress people. So he doesn't even know what he's doing. He doesn't even know who he is. It's very sad how low we have become as a people. And we all need to look in the mirror because why should we always elect people like that? Most of our lawmakers are like that. Most of them are like that, are full of themselves. Most of them are nobodies. I mean, most of them are just there for God knows why they're there. They're not solid in any way. Very poor orientation, poor pedigree, if you go very deep and look into it. A lot of them don't come from good homes. They don't come from known names. They don't even come from educated parents. They're just people, upstarts. I call them upstarts. People who are nothing and, they just join politics, do one or two nonsensical things for their so-called godfathers, and they can't get elected. It shouldn't be there. But as we condemn that lawmaker, we should also look in the mirror because we're all part of this nonsense going on. It is a culture. It's a culture. For us to think that because somebody is driving both, I mean, you could listen to the driver. I'm very sure that guy maybe even has a degree. But maybe Nigeria happened to him. And he has to feed his family or feed himself. We should be proud of whatever we do. So the fact that somebody is a driver does not make him less in any way. But in Nigeria, we respect people according to what they do. We have to all look in the mirror. It is a problem. As we address these issues, we also have to address it amongst ourselves. How are we getting better as a society? The way we think is all in the mind. The way we think, the way we view each other. Even on the social media, even within the obedient movement, it's happening. Where we respect certain people and we don't respect certain people. We all stay behind our computers and know who is doing well and who is not doing well. Because, for reasons best known to them, somehow they know, this person should be respected and this person should not be respected. So we have a problem and we need to start having some orientation to go back to how we used to be. Because we're deteriorating as a people. We are. We are deteriorating as a people. A society where a lawyer a lawyer, a well-known lawyer, in a good firm, a good company, is beating up his wife publicly. A lawyer, he has an LLM, he has a BL, he has an LLB, he has another additional degree, and still, you see, you're not afraid of consequences. And there is one other phrase that I know is very common amongst Nigerians, and that is because my sister's husband used it on her, even in the UK, until she called the cops on him. Nothing will happen. I will do this to you and nothing will happen. It's a very common phrase amongst Nigerians because we have become so lawless. We have accepted that lawlessness and we're all taking advantage of the lawlessness. And that is why you hear people use that nothing will happen. And some of these people, even when they go abroad, they use those phrases, nothing will happen until you call the cops on them, like my sister's husband. You kept hitting her. This was in the UK. Nothing will happen. This was the same nothing will happen he was doing in Nigeria until he brought it to the UK. He slept in jail for 4 days and he knew something had happened. And after that, he started behaving himself. So I'm not sure if I don't know, but we all need to do better as a people. As we condemn these things, let us also, you see, humility. We are not humble as a people. We are not. We are not humble. We're so full of ourselves. A little thing, you see people, even on this app, you see people just over bloated ego and over bloated self-aggrandizement for no reason. We are all nobodies, whether we like it or not. Because at the end of the day, we're all mortals. Mortals. So this idea of wanting to oppress people, both inside and outside, just unnecessarily. A man went to see you late in the night, went to deliver something. It is a given that he has to protect himself. Why will he go in? You are sitting outside. Why can't you meet him where he is? What is the big deal about going to meet him where I wouldn't even want somebody, a delivery person, to enter my house at night, because I don't even know him, even though I know who sent him, and the man has every right to protect himself. Come and pick what I brought for you. It's quiet, very simple thing. You pick it, you pay him his money. He didn't. The only reason why, from what I watched, the only reason why he did not go to meet that man was because he felt, I'm a lawmaker, I'm a senator, whatever I said he was. You must come to me. That was the whole reason for that drama. Unnecessary drama. And then you don't pay him, you beat him up. That guy, put that guy in a room with that Uber Bolt or Uber guy, beat the hell out of him. People will not recognize him for months because of his skin. Look at his skin. With that skin, he's threatening someone that he will be. If that guy slapped him 3 times, we know how his skin would have reflected on his skin. So I don't know. I feel I was very heartbroken when I saw that because and I saw a few people who don't have common sense. Amongst us we have people who have been born not to have common sense until they die, because that thing was just black and white. That man was wrong. I don't care how anybody wants to spin it. Pay me my money and let me go. And it's not a typical male behavior. I mean, a lot of men don't do that to fellow men. I don't see men are more easygoing when it comes to such drama. So that man has a problem. I would expect that his people, the people who elected him, should be on Twitter screaming. I'm sure that some of them there. I haven't seen anybody with a serious voice other than Chidi Odinkalo and Dele Farotimi and one other people. Those are the only people I've seen condemn it. I have not seen any serious person say anything on social media. So we are in deep shit in that country. We've deteriorated so badly to a point of no return. It has gotten to that point of no return now, from what I'm saying. It has gotten to that point of no return. The place is chaotic. Because if that man can do that thing, and up till now, there hasn't been any. I mean, look, the world is now a global village. In a serious place, there will be a press conference, like you have said so. They know what to do. Or he says he can have a press conference and apologize to Nigerians. Well, humans. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. My emotion got a hold. He hasn't done that up till now. And another angle I want to quickly, if I'm going to round up now, is the Inspector General of Police, the useless Inspector General of Police that we have, the useless police force that we have. So useless. I'm trying to think of the worst word to use for them. If that man was bold enough on camera to say, call the Inspector General of Police, nothing will happen, then we are finished as a country. I've never seen that. I mean, I have never seen that. And that is because that man, the Inspector General of Police, is not there meritoriously. He shouldn't be there. He's only there because Tinubu wants him to be there. Probably doesn't even know his job. I mean, I'm very sure the lawmaker knew what he was saying. I'm sure he visits him at night and all that. That is what they do. And so we are in trouble in that country. The country is totally lawless. If we didn't have social media and people were screaming, and thank God for some of us who were, I mean, almost all Nigerians, I'm so glad. I went on his Instagram page, people are causing the hell out of him there. But he will get away with it. We need to do better. We need to do better. We cannot continue to treat each other like this. Nigeria is bad enough. Pay the man and let him go. Pay him and let him go. How much is he being paid in the job? And I'm disappointed that even Bolt, I don't know much about Bolt. I don't know. I know it's in Nigeria. Has not even said anything. So it's all part of the rot. There's a deep rot in that country, and for people like us, it's very heartbreaking. These are simple things that should not even happen, and even when they happen, you quickly fix it. Because we have other countries watching us. It's a global village now. It's social media. It's a shame. It's a disgrace. Bolt hasn't said anything. The police came up with one very vague, what do you call it, post. The party, we were saying they will look into it. We know what it means when they say they will look into it. I mean, that thing was black and white. What are you looking into? It was so clear there. So I don't know. At times, I just I don't know. And we'll vote him again. If that guy contests again tomorrow, they will vote for him again. Because we have refused to liberate ourselves. And that is why we have animals as lawmakers. That guy is an animal. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. So I'll leave it here. Was a painful video to watch. And after that, you took him to the police station. And the policeman came to arrest him. I mean, how are we going to fix this rot? The rot is just too deep. What are we going to do about our police force, for God's sake? What are we going to do about our police force? It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a shame. It's a disgrace. How can citizens not feel safe in their own country? There's nobody to run to. There is nobody to run to. Now, a very dark man is the Messiah. Or you see people, it's a shame. Non-entities become gods. We make gods out of people who should not be gods. You go to the right authorities. No, we can't go because they are just useless. So, my brother, thank you very much for having this space. The things that happened back in Nigeria is very sad. It wasn't like this before. It's getting worse. It was not like this before. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much, Integrity. Thank you, thank you, and thank you once again. You pretty much broke down just one statement. We should all look in the mirror. And while we are at it, we should be asking ourselves, Is this the caliber of individuals that should in the first place occupy that house? I mean, if you browse the internet, it's very easy to find a laundry list of different lawmakers that said one thing stupid or the other. Now we have a situation where a member of the House of Representatives assaulted a young man, like you said, earning a living, doing his own thing. Pay me up, I'll go. It shouldn't be an issue at all. But he felt he had to prove a point. I will make you disappear and nothing will happen. I think that's even a big disrespect to the force that we have in Nigeria. Because I see no reason why that lawmaker shouldn't be in custody right now. But I'm just one man, one voice. Barrister Juliet, thank you so much. I would like you to swing in your own legal opinion about this and what you think should actually happen. Looking at it from the legal angle or legal perspective, and what can the House of Representatives do? I'm pretty sure they have a kind of House Ethics Committee. Right? They shouldn't they equally put out a press statement, or maybe, I mean, do something. Try to educate me about what you think will be the right thing for the House of the political parties as well, and eventually the police force, because they released only a very vague statement. Yeah, please help us out with it, yes, with the woman. Welcome, Barrister Juliet.
Thank you so much once again. Before I proceed, I would like to say thank you, ma'am. Integrity. You just all the work from the beginning to very dark man. I was feeling like you really discuss this before this space. At the point I had to laugh because it became funny when she talked about the way they do it and they put a little bit of comic relief inside, and I was just that's why I had to laugh. I just saw my idea. I was like, why is that? Why are you laughing? And so I had to play that. But back to the issue. So thank you, ma'am. You see, most times I just see myself repeating the things God gave me the opportunity to have an audience a few years ago, thanks to you all. It's more like we're repeating those things we say, and it's not bad that we keep repeating these things because it's already obvious. And whenever I go to comment on a lot of populars, a lot of influencers on this Twitter streets, I'm always saying this, like, I'm happy and I'm glad that the middle class, the upper class, and the lower class have begun to see these things. Because in those days, I'm sure when the dollar was a bit of less value, people were managing and all that. But right now, people are beginning to show more interest in the social injustice that's eating so deep into the nation. Growing up, it was not this bad. I don't really hear that statement. That's why I said it was as if I and Madam Integrity were like, we had a conversation already. We've never spoken before. She used those words that even I was even discussing with my husband that is the word that provoked me, even I think it started from the year 2015 when the nepotism hit high in the FCT, where these lawmakers come from their villages, their places they represent. They all gather in the FCT, the state of capital, and then come and show power and might. And that word we began to see those words from the top to the streets. Everybody began to use it. Do you know who I am? At a point, I would sit with reflection, begin to tell myself, this thing, it's not normal. For us who are educated people, it's time we start addressing this elephant in the room, this evil connotation, these evil words. Do you know who I am? It begins to depict how flawed we are as a people, whereby we have come to celebrate status. I think that's what describes the average Nigeria. They are all hypocrites. Most of them are hypocrites and celebrate money. So whoever sprayed the highest money in a party is given much respect. Whoever wear the best clothes in the church is given more respect.
They are told where to sit. They shower them with praising. And we see all those little things transcends to what we are seeing today. And I'm also grateful to God for social media. It has its pros, it has its cons. And one of the pros is that we are beginning to see these things that have already, they were existent. But because of the advent of social media and the more innovation and content creation, we are beginning to see these things in the room. It has been there, especially for the nepotic era of Buhari. It was increasing. It's, in fact, I'll be speaking geographically from where I was situated. In the FCT, it began to, in fact, even to, how like now, the people who are just normal conversations, a fight breaks out, everybody begins to tell you, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? They want to use the police. And I began to refer to the police as a witch hunting, a system of witch, a system whereby people who are witch hunters uses them to pursue their interests. You see a neighbor go about calling the police to give intel, even when true or not true. Because I am of the belief, as a lawyer, the police should conduct investigations, have enough proof before conducting arrests, then come up with a sufficient warrant of arrest before you go out to go and arrest a person or search his or her house. But you see what Nigerians, in fact, I can give you 10 examples of how even the Nigerian people have turned the security system to their, how to frustrate their fellow neighbors. You see someone who is richer than you or who you have an issue with, because now it's now diverse. I mean, we are even talking about the humility issue. You see people who are rich have their own wicked problems. The people who do not have enough still have their own wicked problems. They go about finding ways to start plotting evil against their fellow man, and they uses the police. So what we are seeing today is just what has been done over times. Like I said, I'm grateful to social media. Another angle to this thing is the fact that this picture we're all seeing today is it's something that I don't know, nerve breaking. I don't even know how to even describe it. Yes, another kudos to Very Dark Man for what he's been doing. But then again, the Nigeria people do not know when to say, this is good. We have applauded you for doing good. But when you are doing bad, we should tell you you are wrong. Now, this man has come into the picture to now grant interview, something that, okay, other media organizations should have taken up. So, okay, come, we want to speak to you, want to carry out, okay, media investigations about what happened last night. Now he has come into the picture. The Nigerian people now will term him a messiah. So you see, once a person comes in, something that we all should be thinking, we will now end up giving the credit that we all, as a people, it's more like a people thing, we will now give it to a person. And that's another thing I also talk about philanthropy. You see, this thing of philanthropy, it's also another medium to make people, to term people as gods. You see, if you want to become you want to run for office, start sharing biscuits, start sharing clothes, start sharing food. The Nigerian people will already give you a seat. They will already term you their messiah. You see, there are so many things, there are so many angles to this thing. And even it's not just in Nigeria. You also see people who are into crimes doing the philanthropy work, because that is another angle of how to tame people's mind, cow people to believing you are God, or drawing them, influencing them towards your direction, and then you end up becoming something else. Now, to this man, what happened yesterday is something that it's condemnable. But why I'm not surprised it hurts is because it's been happening. And I'm happy a lot of people are sharing their own perspective to these things. Madam Integrity has said it all. The drought is deep. Where do we start from? The question now becomes, do the Nigerian people really want to change this? Because we cannot continue to depend on this law again, because the law are just for the books. The interpretation and everything, everybody's just doing what they want to do. Already, if we're talking about the political party where this man is from, which is Abga Party, they should have ethics. Going by that ethics on how someone should actually behave, their reasonable character, they should be able to draw the line and say, okay, this is the punishment, suspension, whatever it is in their political party. I'm not a member of ABGA, but it should have been imputed that once a member who is representing this political party does this or shows a gross misconduct or carries himself out of presents himself to the public in a way that is not orderly, or some certain words put together in their bylaws should be able to dictate what they should do going forward. Then for the national assemblies, they also have their bylaws that regulate them. Ordinarily, I have not been elected. Ordinarily, it is expected that they actually should give a statement condemning these acts, condemning these actions done by this man, and therefore suspend him, because it is not a light issue. It is also synonymous with what Abo did, hitting that woman in the store, in the sex toy shop. It does not matter if it was he hit her in a sex toy shop, or I'm just giving the facts. It could be on the road, but the thing is, there was an assault. This person should be suspended. Now, coming to the courts, we know how matters take time before they are adjudicated in Nigeria. It's so sad. And that is why an average man sees the courts as a no door to justice. In fact, social media, and that is why this very dark man is now in quotes celebrated all while, because it's now more like the courts now are in the social media. But ordinarily, this is an assault. This is a case of an assault, an alleged assault by this man. It's unfortunate, since this matter is still under investigation, it's unfortunate we didn't even see to the point where he was slapped, because if it was, we would have been pointed, because I'm speaking from a legal perspective here, we will use the word allegedly, because it's not, it's still under investigation, yes. But if I want to also go straight, I would actually be saying he abused, he assaulted, but this is a case of assault. And so I would actually speak like one. If this man has said that he was slapped, and from the way he was actually speaking to the man, there was also verbal abuse. Now, we heard it. At this point, I will tell you, we all heard this. I will speak to this fact. We all heard how much it disabused the office of the government, whereby the security in which the Nigerian people trust, the head of the security, is now demeaned as somebody who they can call or who they can use to perpetrate crimes. And that is wrong. Now, for the assault, the court actually should grant this man remedy. He has every right to go to court to actually sue on his on this thing that has this wrong that has been done to him. So there are so many angles to this thing, and even for the crime, because he could have even inflicted injury to him. I do not know the degree. He said he was punched in the chest. His chest is paining him. That alone, if he gets actually the doctor's reports, fine and good. These are all things, everything he can take out there and then even institute a criminal matter, because he can write a petition against this man. We've already spoken about, Madam Integrity spoke about the fact that even the police came to his house. So I'm trying to analyze all those things that an average layman would not know. For the police to even have come to the man's house, it was an insult to the Nigerian security personnel, the Nigerian security system, or the Nigerian security, the office on its own, coming to the house, whereby you were not even there, you were called. And even when you even now came, you came as a result of there was no even petition. I don't even know, what were they told? Were they coming as errand men, errand boys? And that was what happened. Taking this man alone, they didn't even take the two people who they must have presumed were even having an altercation to go into their station for questioning. You came, took one, put the person, subjected him to an ill treatment, saying all rubbish, all statements to this man. Even wanted to now put it on him that he was fighting the honorable. And then the man himself, until social media got agog before they had to summon this man. This could have even gone under the carpet and nobody would have known. The man would have given 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira, and the matter would have been swept. This is the Nigeria that has been happening. For me, it's not surprising. I'm not taking it as something that is new. It is what happens every day. It happens to our young men. It happens to our young girls. It happens to almost, look at the little girl that was arrested and put into prison, the little Deborah that was put into prison 2 weeks ago that everybody had to be talking about, reposting and all. You see what everybody, because the man already is a court belief, he's now using his position. And I try not to be able not to say to degrade any position or status in life. When you go to Sena climbs, even the person who drives a car, the farmer, the trader are all respected people. Assault is assault. It is not bigger when it's done to a rich man. It is the same to both old and young. But Nigeria have found a way to segregate crime done to those of lower status in their head and those of a higher status. It's just a warped society, like Madam has said. It's a warped system. I don't know how we can get a solution, because giving the like I said, I'm happy and I'm excited about social media. There is the pros to social media, there is the cons to social media, and we'll continue to do our best, which is to cry out, public outcry. And I keep telling people, for the fact that our public outcry is giving, we're having responses, just know that as long as we keep the fire burning, there will come a time where this public outcry will metamorphose in the hearts of Nigerians, and then it will lead to something mighty. It's already obvious that through social media, coming together collectively to discuss pushes actions in the Nigerian government. But my prayer is that there comes a time our voices will resonate so high, because I posted something recently on Madam Aisha's. I responded to Madam Aisha's post when she was saying for clarity purposes, and I said comprehension is an issue in Nigeria. The problem of understanding, hearing a thing, reading a thing, finding out information, and interpreting that thing to the best logical conclusion. It's a problem. A lot of Nigerians lack it. And it's something we need to actually focus on so that we can be able to get ourselves together. Because one person is saying something, another person is defending another thing. Look at people. I'm just happy. Okay, what about the woman that was even assaulted? I'm happy that there was even a CCTV to actually tell us what she was even saying. And even the audio was out. So now it will not be that some Nigerians know how to justify abuse. I don't know whether it's because they've grown with maids. I don't know if it's because some of their moms live with 1,000 maids, so they see abuse as normal, whereby you send somebody works in your houses, cleans your houses from morning to midnight. They don't go to school, so these children grow up to think that it is normal to abuse people. We have bullies everywhere. Even the children in the school, they begin to abuse because they know they come with 10 set of provisions. We've seen this thing. We've seen it happen. You come with 10 sets, so you feel you are bigger, you are more exalted, because people tell your mommy, they worship your mom in the house or worship your daddy in the house. You come to school and you start recreating such abusive mentality to your fellow students. It's just crazy. It's sad. I've talked about the issues legally, which the man can actually follow through. We will all do our best. Most times these situations are jurisdictional. Whoever is at the point can actually lend their voices. We in the social media, whereby we are not really close to the victims, will lend our voices. But it's all together. It's like I keep saying, it's a collective action. We all must continue to say it, ring it, talk about it, that even the next elections, which is hopeful, I'm just hopeful, we cannot conclude that the average Nigerian will know what to vote for. Madam Secretary was saying something that I hope those who voted this man, you will be surprised. They were in Abuja during the election saying, "Nah, we know, we are with you, we are with you." The people who voted this man were maybe people who have never even seen him before, but saw him 6 months to the election coming to give them tomato, pepper. That is Nigerians for you. Those who claim to be enlightened, who went to school, are behind the social media. They don't even know what to do. They don't even know what to even vote for. They don't even have their PVC. So it is a warped system. It's just crazy. You talk, but the hopeful thing is those who even live close to these people, who have the power to vote them in their jurisdiction, come out tomorrow to know that this person is somebody we should flag down. This person is not somebody we want to represent us, because being there in the House of Representatives also says that the people from that constituency behaves like you, whoever is there. So I hope this goes and resonates. It becomes a wider conversation. It doesn't just stop here today, and we all change as a people. We change to stop using those nonsense languages that act or use the police as our witch hunting mechanism to commit crimes. Because if I tell you the truth, not only the rich are perpetrators of such kind of crime, even those who we term as average and those who we term as lower class commit this same thing in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Barrister Juliet. That was very, very enlightening. Yeah, please just stay there. I'm pretty sure we'll be having a few more questions for you moving forward, just to help us to understand the legal aspect of things. Thank you so much for that. That was very, very educative. Ambassador Israel, let's have your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tony and OneMMC. It's my pleasure to join this conversation. Thank you so much, Barrister Juliet and Madam Integrity, for that wonderful submission. It was spot on. I think all has been said, right? And it is important that we understand that there's character before power. That's what a lot of of the so-called rulers in the corridors of power, because for the traits that he exhibited, it does not show or exemplify the true quality of a leader, because a leader is compassionate. Yeah, a leader is compassionate. A leader is humble. A leader is not proud. Is not egoistic. And that's been the traits that I noticed in that video. I was watching the video and I was having some flashback. I've once been in the shoe of this Uber driver one time. I don't like recalling the incident, and I told myself, I said, if I find myself in future in a political position, I should be able to use my position to impact life, humanity, first. Because I think a lot of time this think that power, they can be in power forever, and they don't know that power is transient. It's just for a while. Today, Buhari wouldn't have thought that he would ever leave the seat, but he's now a former president, and like that. So I think is a clarion call, to those who are still in the corridor of power, that wherever you are doing, whatever you are doing, the social media listings, and it is beyond the age where you can easily do PR and cover your mess. Let's assume we don't have the internet as a defense mechanism. I'm sure he has done a lot of this, and he has gone scot-free. Nobody questioning. Nobody would want to even say, okay, this is what you have done, because they have a way of trying to cover their their flaws. But there's this popular saying that evil, the gods want to destroy. You first of all make mad. So I think this is just the right time for for him to be exposed. Because if you check the video very well, I'm sure he does not even have people around him that he can even send to pick up the message for him. So he showed the kind of character he embodies, and it's saddening when I was going through some researches, because what I always do whenever I see cases like this as a journalist, I go to try and dig or do like a fact checking to even know what this person has been doing before now, his character and everything. And it's shocking me when I read an article about him. Of course, he's freely PR. And that's where I'm going, because I think the media also is a problem, to our society, especially in the Nigerian context, where we have people that do more PR because you are being paid for it, and then it's more of lies. Because what I read here does not represent the character that I watched in the video. It's totally, dissonant. It's opposite to what they claim that it represents in the article. And I begin to question myself that if we have this kind of person, in the 10th assembly, what is he doing there, really? And this is the kind of person that he was even saying, do you know who I am? And I was going through his track record. He has been in the house, I think, for a year plus now. These are things that you can, of course, fact check. It's on other paper. That's the National Assembly records. And I checked the bills that he has proposed since he has been there. He's zero. He has no bill. So who are you? If you are saying, do you know who I am? You've not even proposed any bill. You've not even do something that will impact your constituents. And you are asking your fellow human, do you know who I am? And this is your first time of coming to the house. And your party also is not even a party that you can easily, ride on and say you want to get the second term. But you are not humble enough to, to allow humanity to come first, and then ego setting, and then you mess up. So I really want to see the end to this case. I hope the Nigerian police can listen now and not bury this case like the way it has always been, that we'll only see the starting. I will not see the finishing, because we have people that always have their way, behind the doors, and then they find a way to just bury the whole case. And then Nigerians, they'll say Nigerians will always forget. But no, I think the generation of Nigerians, especially the young people, the Gen Z, there are people that don't easily forget. They have your receipts, online. Even if the way the Nigerian law right now is being practiced, I think most time people like that will always go scot-free. But we have every evidence to show that he was actually guilty of the offense that he has been found wanting of. So the ball now lies in the hands of the Nigerian police to at once, correct that bad impression about them, because an African Nigerian does not even have faith, in the Nigerian police, because they believe that they are easily biased, and they can also, compromise their standard, their professionalism. That's a problem, because if a common man does not even have hope in the police system, then it's a problem. So how do an average Nigerian who does not have a godfather, or who does not know a strong politician up there, how is he going to get justice, when you are facing this kind of thing? So these are many questions that, we need to find answers to. But it's so saddening, because I already know the answers to these questions, that we are in a system that does not even respect the rule of law. A system where even those in the corridors of power do not exhibit or exemplify a good trait of leadership. It's a problem. So for those in his constituency, I think nobody needs to preach to them on what they need to do. Peradventure, he completes his first term in office. But left for me, I think the right thing they should do is to even impeach him if there's any law that will permit. I don't know if Barrister Julia can educate us more on the provisions of the law as regards cases like this, because I think something like this happened in the case of Senator Elijah Abo, that's from Adamawa State. And I saw the way it went, because it was in a strong party, the People's Democratic Party. And the way the Nigerian thing works is, when you have a strong political backing, sometimes you do some excesses and you go scot-free. But in his own case, it's totally different, because he's not in any strong political party, and I'm not sure he has like a strong political figure that would want to back him up, except the ruling party would want to convince him to join them, because they said when you join them, all your sins will be forgiven, according to Adams Shomole. Thank you.
Wow. Ambassador Israel, if you join them, all your sins will be forgiven. Well, maybe for the political class, but actually the Gen Zs, as you said, they have that receipt. It is not so easily forgiven in time, I guess. Thank you very much for that. Barrister Juliet, Ambassador Israel asked you a question. Is there any chance you can give us a moment and educate us on what he just asked? Maybe you didn't get the question. Did you?
It's usually by recall. It's usually by recall. And this now boils down to the people. I know there's also a place of gross misconduct, but that gross misconduct has never actually been interpreted to what it means. And so most time people, those in positions to interpret these sessions, they go round and round. And you see what a lot of governors have been doing with their deputies. They will talk about gross misconduct and just kick their deputies out. But it's two ways, either for gross misconduct, or if the people ask for a recall based on certain things, such as this, they can actually ask for a recall. Well, it's also something that's never happened in the history of Nigeria. So most times I don't even see the people even, you see, I don't even like to talk about the constitution again, because these governments have blatantly disrespected the constitution. In fact, the laws seem as nothing. Interpretation seems it can't even be interpreted anymore. Many reasons are the way abuse of power has become is something is ridiculous. And that's why I keep saying that another way to actually end this thing is not putting everybody in a party in leadership, everybody in a particular party, or most people who run for office in a particular party, the majority should not be a political party, because this is what we'll see. There was something Mr. Njenje said about the party he belongs to, which is APGA. Why he's even going to be dealt with, we are even hoping he'll be dealt with, is because he is in that political party, which even the Nigerian system is so warped, and some of the people are so warped that they will not begin to even say, they will even insult him, not because of what he did, but they will look down on him because of his party. You see, I don't even know sometimes, and when you want to even speak to Nigerians, you even have to even tell yourself how much on wisdom you should put in for them to understand you. How do you even belittle a person because it's even in a political party they term small? And this is some of the solutions we need going forward, whereby they will not be that monopoly of power. Because some of the abuse we're experiencing today is because APC majorly has taken over majority of Nigerians' institutions. And that alone has influenced how we are actually acting as a people. APC, they forget that they are influencers. They forget that they are role models. But we think role models is only for those on the fashion parade ground. But role models are your leaders. So they have actually found a way to role model, to make sure to influence their very abusive character. I don't even want to start talking back. We all know this. If we want to now start talking about it, we can enumerate. But the abuse is so. The ENDSears, the August 1st protest, we've seen what they've done. We've seen even the elections. Consequences since then, subsequent elections has just the way we carry out our elections, everything. So let's not even talk about it. It's just so ridiculous. I can even start telling you that there's even a hope. I am the one saying there is no hope that even for now, if the Nigerian people do not stand up collectively, there is no even hope that the constitution, this set of legislators, this APC, this house filled with APC members will do.
So I just saw a news on Instablog that the honorable member Alex Mascot that he has been arrested. Please, Instablog.
If it was
I don't know whether they don't send you a do damage control so that to make Nigerians feel like he has been arrested. Now me there for Abuja. Now me know what they happen. The guy has not been arrested, and he must be arrested. Because you cannot use the name of the IG. Imagine what he said about the Inspector General of Police, the #1 cop in the whole of Africa. Somebody with person where go school, learn, study mathematics, get PhD. You thought say, call the IG to come here now. I see the IG is your boy. Is the IG one of all those boys that you pay money? This is not the first time. This is another person again that is using the name of the office of the IG to bully and oppress people. And you are a honorable member? See, look at the names he was calling that guy. Monkey, dog, this one, that your fellow human being. And you are a honorable member. Calling the IG calling the IG name as if now you they give IG food to chop. The #1 cop, the #1 symbol of law and enforcement in Nigeria. We are not going to take this as Nigerians. And I believe that the police in Nigeria will not take it. He's currently at CPDC's office. CPDC, I don't see in track record. He's a man of integrity. A man of integrity that stands for justice. And I believe that he will not let people to call him and talk to him and say, hey, this one is an honorable member and that. No! Justice must stand. Even if they are not going to prosecute him for anything, for speaking about the IG as if the IG na one kind 10 naira boys. I they watch the video, they say, wait, now the Inspector General of Police, this guy they talk about like this. A man of integrity, person where go school, a very learned man. No. No. This cannot be taken. Meanwhile, see the guy, see your own record. No bill have been passed. You never ever sponsor any bill before. You but 3 slap. You don't rush, give him 3 slap. That guy now in chest they pay now. The guy said they held him like this, he was hitting his chest. If now your brother, will you be happy? If that's your brother, will you be happy? This will not slide. I believe that the office of the IG will do something. Because they respected IG and we love him. And you cannot disrespect him like that. And I expect that this man's political party, that they will suspend him and even drop him. I'll be expecting the National Assembly and the House of Rep to throw away this guy from office. People like this cannot represent us in Nigeria. It's not possible. Make people like this only stand for House of Rep. They say they want to represent Nigerians. No! Treating people like animals. If you are seeing Nigerians or fellow Nigerians as an animal, all those names where they call the guy, if you are seeing your fellow Nigerians as a monkey, that, rats, and all this one, then how would you represent us? That means you are using your office to eat our money and to abuse power and to oppress the poor. Calling him a poor man, that you use 50 million naira, that they should disappear him. How many people have you made them to disappear? The police must ask you. A lot of people are missing in Abuja. Who knows? Maybe they don't make you vex, you don't disappear them. Who knows? Who knows how many people you don't lock for your generator house? Who knows? Who knows how many people you don't disappear with 50 million naira? Who knows? You will tell Nigerians. Honorable member, my foot. Honorable member, my foot. Call IG like boy. You will learn. All of them want to use power for this country. Now, not if you use power, make the country better. That's what they do.
Not a dependable organization.
Don't play.
So how do you want to go meet them? What do you want to tell them? It's I don't know. It's the Nigerian people that can only force a change. For now, the leaders, they are nothing. They are just talking about how to share the contract, share the money, go as far as doing a whole lot of nonsense in that leadership position. There is, in fact, maybe the person is now, whoever is in charge is even thinking of his next 4 years on how to come back. Those people are not even interested. Then the House of Rep, I don't even know, what do we even discuss in that seat, in that assembly? What do they discuss? People are talking about moral grounds on how to channel bills that actually represent the people. They're just there talking about irrelevancies, how to rename, separate, divide states. It's something that I cannot tell you how the distraction, and they know how to play the distraction game. They know how to say something that Akpabio will say, that the young people now, and it's even the young people, old or middle, everybody will start sharing it. They will start laughing about it. They make a caricature. And you know the one that's even irritating? They've now even renamed Tinubu T-Pain. And you see people laughing. What is so laughable about T-Pain? What is so laughable? Something that should even be said with anger, pain. Some will say the T-Pain to even laugh about it. Not T-Pain, no, T-Pain. It's so annoying how we found a way to joke about nonsense, how to joke about our pain. I don't know. It's an intellectual problem that Nigeria has. Until we fix it, and it's not one man to fix, it is us to fix. And that is why I keep saying that I'm happy that now the pain is not even saying who it will hit. It's hitting everybody. And so what we can learn from this issue is how we can come together, harmonize to say we demand a democracy whereby the rule of law will be respected to the latter. And any part of the constitution that does not align with our focus needs to be changed because it is the constitution of the people. But until we harmonize, those few will continue to take advantage. And those who are more, if they don't come to an intellectual harmonization with their minds or how they communicate, they will not be able to get through to get what they want from those in power. It's as simple as that.
We demand a democracy where the rule of law will be respected. I think that starts with the caliber and the quality or the character of the individuals we elect into the parliament, as well as the House of Senate. I think that's exactly where it starts from. So which means, in my opinion, it is high time that we as a people, Nigerians, we start paying more serious attention to the individuals we send to these places. Because no matter what we do, that's the starting point. You want to amend the Constitution, that is the starting point. Anything you need to do, that's just the starting point. And for some reason, it appears we've not been paying enough attention to them, but only when they goof up, right? Like, for instance, this gentleman that was assaulted by this lawmaker. I know Barrister Juliet will say, yeah, allegedly, that's okay because it's within the realm of legal definition. I get that. But we have the evidence, it's clear. So when we start looking in the mirror, let's start asking ourselves that question, are we doing enough, either individually or collectively, to question our lawmakers? Because that's exactly where it starts. Let's be honest with each other about this. It's about our country. Dreams. I see you there. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Let's have your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait, your audio. Oh, am I the only one? Oh, okay.
Am I coming up? Okay, better. Okay, thank you. Everyone. I've been listening and I've just been meditating over the whole issue. One thing I realize is this: it is a Nigerian thing. It is individual thing, and there is need for a massive civic education in Nigeria. We need more of civic education because there is so much we've lost in terms of value system as a country. Nigeria is lacking so much on value system. You see, a lot of people don't understand how this thing works. When people begin to be full of themselves based on the system we've built so far, where we celebrate mediocrity more than our reality. Nigerians celebrate mediocrity a lot, where they make influential people demigods, where when someone assumed a position, probably in the government, automatically the person becomes a demigod, if not God. We, the people, are the ones crowning them this crown that they don't want. Something that is not supposed to be there. Automatically, these people, on assumption of office, you see them becoming what they are not overnight. A senator just on appointment immediately within that night becomes somebody that now has 30 bodyguards. You know, people automatically wear suits to follow his cars. He now has the right to move on convoys of 30 cars. Salary becomes 30 automatically. This is what we've made them become. It is the problem of the people. And if you've not witnessed it or have not had such experience, probably people, you might not understand how these things work. Just as a politician, you see people trooping in your home every blessed morning. They don't have where they're going. They are trooping in your home every blessed day, eating, celebrating, and going back to their houses. Thus, they now worship you. This is what we make them believe they are. And that is why they now believe that they can do anything to you, like you no longer have any right. You don't have any single value. To them, they treat you like trash. And you will still see people, some Nigerians that will come out to tell you how disrespectful you are. Don't you know that is an honorable member? The way we worship these positions. And let me tell you, there are ways these things affect the society that people subconsciously are not aware of. Let me use myself as an example. You know, I happen to come from a political home where my dad was an honorable member too, and uncle a senator. It affected me personally from upbringing, where I struggled so hard to prove myself, like to prove my individual effort to villagers, to people. So that it's not when I wear something and come out in the society, people will tell me it's not his dad, it's not his dad, I bought it for him. Mentally, I was derailed because nobody believes in me personally anymore. Everybody believes it is his dad. Nobody loves you genuinely. People love you just because of your daddy is in a position. It affects the society. People don't understand. So we the people, we need to minimize the way we place values in these people so as not to make them what they are not. You see Nigerian police going to the kitchen of a politician to fetch rice, to feed a Nigerian police on uniform, fetching rice in Madam's kitchen. This is what is happening. This is what we've turned the situation to. The system is porous. And this is a matter of the people. The entire people is a system thing. It's our value. We need to regain our value system. We need to know how to treat the next person, irrespective of their position, irrespective of their account balance. We don't need to judge people's intelligence based on their fluent English speaking. That shouldn't be the method of measuring people's wisdom or people's intelligence. Just because they speak well, they speak fluently, we not believe that they are intelligent or they have. We just let them values that probably in the entirety of life they don't have. We celebrate mediocrity a lot, and that is why we have a whole lot of porous systems in our institutions. Just a little opportunity, a little power. You see, everybody becomes trash in your eyes. People now lose value system, economic value. People now lose. People are no longer regarded anymore. The system needs to change, and it needs to change from individual selves as in Nigeria. If we don't change ourselves as individually, we will not change Nigeria. That is the fact. When we are full of hypocrisy, we are full of favoritism, we are full of how would I put it? Just it. We need to change individually. Let's start from us first. Let's start from us, because if that young man that was ranting on that video, if he actually has a value personally, if he has his values, he wouldn't be behaving the way he was behaving towards a fellow man that was so harmless, that wasn't even replying you. It was so powerful. We really need to change. Thank you very much, Mr. Tony.
Thank you so much, James, for your thoughts. Thank you so much. You know, we're all pretty much saying the same thing. And it comes down to one thing, in my opinion, with just one voice. The quality of character of the individuals going to the green and the red chambers. It means we still have a lot of work to do. If this our democracy is to survive, Barrister Juliet alluded to that earlier multiple times in her submission. We still have a lot of work to do, and it's no joke. The question is, how do we get it going? Of course, we will not get an answer to it today. The divisiveness in Nigeria today is mind-boggling, no doubt about it. Political class behaving, ways that are not bringing the people together. We don't have a strong sense of direction or purpose. Humility is no longer there within the political class. Has that anything got to do with our educational system as well, fundamentally? That's an open question. When we look in the mirror, we should be asking ourselves these questions and asking ourselves, what can we actually do individually? And maybe further down the road, collectively, to start correcting these ills and make sure we elect the right people to serve the people. Because these are supposed to be servant leaders, right? But that's not who they are right now. Madam Integrity, let's have you real quick before we go to Nelly. Nelly Benza, I hope you're there. You've been dropping off. So just brought you back up. Just hold your thought for a second. Allow Madam Integrity to, add a point or two to her initial submission. Go ahead, Madam Integrity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me again. I'm going to be quick. We all are adults. We all are adults, or we are all adults. We know right from wrong. Even kids know right from wrong. There are some things that are wrong and some things that are right. No matter how, permit my language, how stupid or foolish a person is, there are some things we know as human beings. Even if you don't have good home training, or you were not raised well, or you don't have a good orientation, you should know that is wrong. What happened in that video was outrightly wrong. But the way we can correct some of these things, because I'm not sure if it's social media. We're beginning to see more of this thing because of social media. It wasn't like this. I keep telling people, that is not to say I'm old. I'm young. I'm, fairly young, but it was not like this before. It was not like this before. Like what that lawmaker did. It starts from the family. These things are trending. I know if it's my family, people who will cuss him out, there are so many of them. They will cuss him out in such a way that he will go and correct things. So he doesn't need to be, because we all come from families, right? We all come from families. So I think the family unit in Nigeria has broken down. I'm not sure if it's because of the economy. I want to think it's a huge part of it. It has broken down. People are more interested in money now. Parents are more interested in money. Nobody cares how things are being done. Everybody just wants to survive, and they don't care how they survive. Any which way but lose. Any which way. Do whatever it takes to get that end result. It's no longer like, oh, no. You have to follow a particular path. So that is part of it. The second part of it is our political space, our political system. The whole system is in a deep mess. Starting from the president, starting from that elections that are so blatantly stolen. And then we have people who are supporting this thing. So it appears as if you have a lone voice and you stand and you want to condemn certain things, and the majority supports the other, the negative aspect of it, then people, not everybody is strong-minded. People tend to succumb. Okay, you can't beat them, you join them. So I think that is what is gradually eating us up as a society. Then another problem I have been able to notice, thank God for social media, is in as much as our youths are calling out this, we have a lot of our young people, of course, they have voices, but our young people are not engaged in serious-minded discussions enough. They are not engaged in political awareness enough. Look at the American elections. We only have how many days? 7 days. Young people, teenagers. You go to schools. I mean, we have a university, in the city where I live. I went the other day for a seminar. You see young people campaigning. They are so aware. They already have the ideology, they are holding their own really well and sticking to their ground. They can defend policies. We don't have young people who we are building other than some of them who follow influencers. And a lot of our influencers are a huge part of the problem. A lot of our influencers, so-called influencers, are a huge part of the problem. And I think it became worse when we have this obedient movement thing. Because you see some obedient, so-called obedient influencers who are just, I'm so sorry, I don't care who you vote for, but who are deliberately misinforming our young people. Because most of the people who are followers of these people are young people who are naive. Because it takes a naive, gullible person to just believe whatever they see or whatever they read. There's no proof. They don't do any research. Whatever that person says, they take it. Whatever that person says, they take it. And I'm going to give an example, and I'm going to call a name here. Kalu Aja is very well respected on this space, on Twitter, on financial matters. But there are lots of misinformation he puts out there. And because he has a large followership, you go through his comment section, you see people believing. You see people agreeing, even when it is so clear that this is misinformation. So, and a lot of some people in the obedient movement, yes. So we are, and that is why I was trying to say, we need to start doing better. A lot of us, and I think it became also worse when social media spaces started compensating. We're considered compensating, financial compensation. So people put out whatever they want to put out. They don't care. They just want to be paid. And they don't care. And these followers are gullible. They follow them, because, in Nigeria, the mentality is, oh, he's an influencer. He told the truth today. So if he tells a lie tomorrow, it doesn't matter. He told the truth yesterday. So we're still going to follow him anyway. So we are all part of the problem. And that is why we keep seeing things like this. Look at what happened in Edo State. We are all part of the problem. The people on ground are misinformed. The people online are just followers. We just follow, just they follow, like Fela said. If they follow, you go open your eye, you go open your head. You don't just follow. So we are not raising children who go out there and ask questions. We're not raising people who so our young people are not empowered enough. They should be more empowered than they are. It's not just calling people out, but how are we even correcting these issues so that they don't even happen? Like that guy should have never have been elected. That guy should never have been. It's so clear that he's not being held accountable even before this incident. And that is why he can talk anyhow. Even when he saw it was on camera, he kept speaking. Because nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. The president is corrupt. Look at the nonsense interview Bayo Ononuga gave yesterday. Look at people like Reno Omokri. So it's a total mess. Look at Buala. There is a mess. It's a mess. Everybody is part of it. Everybody is trying to, or I wouldn't say everybody, I'm so sorry about that, absolute. Most people want to be part of the rotten system. Bianca Ono was just given a ministerial position. She's gonna take it. We don't have people that say, no, I'm not gonna be part of this. Take it. I reject it. I don't want it. I will not be part of it. It is already flawed. So why should I be part of it? So it is part of it. So when we have people who we look up to, accept positions that they should not accept. Keep quiet look, like this thing has happened now. How many of them have you seen, speak out on? We have some solid political people who are, what do you call it, on social media. How many of them have you seen come out to condemn it? And then we see the rotten government that we have. Things are not working out. A lot of people are compromised. I had a small birthday party for my mom last weekend. If you see, even with the barricade we had, people were still finding ways to enter because people are hungry. People are hungry. And when people are hungry, they tend to compromise. So we have a problem in our hands. And I'm not going to lie, I thank God every day that I left the country, because I can't imagine if I were in Nigeria seeing all this. I know it would have been very difficult to even leave the country now. So I'm so glad at times that I left, because the whole thing is messy. The whole thing is messy. There's no leadership. People behave anyhow. People now, because of this compensation thing, you go on Instagram, you see all kinds of nonsense. You come on even X Spaces, you see people post things. People just want to. It's so obvious. It's all for the money to get compensated somehow, because a lot of our people are unemployed. So the home, the outside, the village. When I mean the village, I mean the global. Well, not global. Then outside the home, is all part of it. The church is the worst. The church is a huge part of the problem. So I don't know how we're going to correct it, but it's really sad. We're not getting better at the country. We are deteriorating on a very high level. So I'll leave it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam Integrity. I would like to bring to your attention that we are broadcasting this space live on Njenje TV on YouTube, and we have a much wider audience there right now. So please come up, let's have your thoughts. Let the world know that we are just not happy with the state of affairs in that country, starting with the lawmakers, particularly the incident that happened that we are talking about right now. So Nelly Benson, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me loud and clear.
Sure, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Oh, great. Okay. So, my name is Nena, and I'm also a lawyer in a lawless country, but it's really unfortunate the system we find ourselves in. And unfortunately, also, unless happens to be a rep representing my constituency, and it's to interest everyone that he was so I hear a lot of persons saying he's not supposed to be there and all that. He did not win the election. It's really unfortunate that Supreme Court gave judgment and he found himself there, and all of a sudden he became a bully. When I watched that video, I was very sad. I watched that video at about 1:30 something a.m. this morning. I happened to be awake. I was doing some things. I came across the video. I was sad. Someone said earlier, men don't make violence against their fellow men. So I was really shocked to see, such wicked acts. I'm actually going to be very brief because throughout the day, fortunately, I come from where we play really grassroots politics in my state, and of course in Aba North and Aba South. And I have been making calls all day. Unfortunately, the country where the fastest way to stop this is here recall. But so even if is not possible, it is not going back for a second.
Sorry, I can't hear Nelly anymore. Nelly, please your audio. Put in with the audio. We'll hear you clearly.
Sorry, am I clear now?
Yes, much better now. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I had a call. So, unfortunately, you know, we are not, most of us here in Nigeria, we're not students of history. Before this Alex guy came, his predecessor, ABCK, he just had one tenure. He completed the previous guy that was there. He died. They did a by-election, brought him on board because of pride. He was not. There are people of Abanot and Abasa did not re-elect him. So you know, some of us, we don't learn. It's pride that took the other guy that was there out, and he coming on board. He was not even properly elected. It was a stolen mandate, and he's already exhibiting this beastly character. So it's really unfortunate. And I must say that even if I recall, I mean, we'll explore all options. Even if I recall might not really be the ideal solution right now because of the Nigerian factor, but a re-election is not feasible. And one thing I'm really proud about my people in Abanot and in Abasalt, we are politically aware. So Abga, I mean, it's really funny. Who votes Abga besides Abaribe that is there? I mean, our people, I would say they like him and all that, and he can afford to move to any party and they vote him and all that. Nobody really, we vote people and not party in that state. So in that constituency. So I have been on calls, I've been making calls, talking to people, the grassroots level and everything, and making sure everyone, because most of them are not on social media, but making sure everyone is well informed on what's happening. So if a recall is not possible, then a re-election will not be possible for him. He's not going back because it's an embarrassment. I think that will be stopped now because I have another meeting now. Thank you everyone for listening. It's very important we use our page to continue to speak up, because when we don't speak up, these things keep happening. In your little way, you have to speak up. We really need to. This thing is not funny thing. It's not just about when you get high up there. Some of us, we exhibit this do you know who I am character and all that. We really need to have a self-retrospect and actually look inwards and correct some of this little attitude and oppression once we get that little power. Thank you very much, Mr. Tony, and every other person that has spoken this evening. I mean, we are all motivated, and I'll keep talking to my people, and in the coming days, I mean, things will really get to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nelly. Now, wait a minute. Just to confirm that I heard you right, you introduced yourself as a lawyer, right?
Yes, I am a lawyer, yeah.
Beautiful. And you're equally on the ground as well, right? Within the constituent that young man is representing. Is that right?
I am not currently on ground. I am out of the state, but yeah, that's my constituency.
Okay. And you're constantly in touch with the folks on the ground?
Yes, yes, I am. Yes.
Now, we don't have a perfect democracy. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, it all depends on the people on the ground, the constituent that he is representing. If they are willing and ready to pursue a recall, it's all about determination to see it through. Right?
Yes.
It's tough. It's cumbersome. That's very true. But where you are determined to pursue it, it can still happen. So please do not, go away with the impression that that is not even an option right now. You don't have to wait until that. If you can get the folks together, educate them to help them to understand. You said they are already politically very savvy there. So it shouldn't be a problem at all to put a team there together to actually pursue that possibility. I just wanted to chip that in. Feel free to correct me though.
You know, one of the first things I said was we are looking at a recall. As I said, I'm still making contacts, talking to people. And, Nigerian factor plays a lot. It goes a lot of it. Like if a recall is something that is cumbersome, you get people that just don't want that recall to see the light of the day. So if that is jeopardized, if that process is jeopardized, we'll calm down, we'll follow we will just allow him to do his day, but a re-election is not possible for him. So I'm not totally doing away with the recall. We'll explore that option.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. All right. Will, let's have you. Will, your thoughts, please.
Hey, yeah, so I've been listening. So
Ours is a society that's actually like it's a mess, you know. So when I see some of these things happen sometimes, you know, it's not like it's when it happens sometimes people see it like it's a one-off thing, or it's like, it's just something that just happened or something like that. Yeah, but if you look back, you notice that um, this is something that is inherent in a lot of Nigerians. And most times, one thing we forget is that leaders, leaders don't fall from heaven or fall from the sky or anything. Leaders are the same people that are from that society, that are either elected or maneuver their way to, to the position where they find themselves. So when you look at this and you have a country where you see that a good number of the leaders are behaving a certain way, there's this lord over subjects kind of mentality in a democracy where you as a leader is supposed to actually be a servant to the people because they pay your bills, they pay your salary, you work for them. You're like an employer to the people and things like that. But they don't see it that way because of the kind of mentality that we have. So it trickles down, right? So when you have a society where you have a lot of leaders behaving that way, then it is not the position that is corrupting them. There's something fundamentally wrong with that society in general. And that is going back to the root cause or whatever is actually responsible for having, for a society churning out leaders who behave in a certain way. So that means that there's every likelihood that, when you elect people, there will always be that good number of, even though there are a few good ones, there's just that high number of, despicable people with, crazy behaviors and things like that. And then when you begin to look at our society is a way, our society is a kind of society where there's just this culture of, there's just this culture that breeds pride in people from onset. So there's just this pride already existing, crazy pride. I notice with us Nigerians, I know what I'm talking about. If those of you that have been able, to travel to countries, around the world and things like that, or those of you that probably relocated to live abroad or something like that, you would also observe that if you will tell yourself the truth, you will notice that it took you some time to purge yourself of certain behaviors that you thought was normal with you. It took you some time to gradually start purging yourself, because at some point you have to say, and then you get embarrassed at certain points, because if you overdo it, people gonna call you out, right? So it's something, there's just this pride. Is when you're inside the plane, or you're inside the bus, or you're inside the train, or you're in a restaurant, the moment you hear, do you know who I am? You know it's coming from a Nigerian. The moment you hear that phrase, that question, do you know who I am? It's coming from a Nigerian. So who are you? Right? So it's a problem. What we saw this senator, or sorry, the dishonorable member did, or whatever he is not peculiar to just him. I mean, we've had series. I mean, these are the ones that were able to be captured on cameras, right? We have the ones that were not even captured on cameras that, happens that we don't even know about. We saw the issue with, the chairman Code of Conduct Bureau at Banex Plaza, a poor security guy, how they busted this guy's mouth and beat the crap out of him simply for telling the Code of Conduct Bureau chairman that you can't park here. The guy was simply doing his job. You can park here. This place is not designated for parking, but you can park in other place or whatever, and then boom, they beat this guy to stupor. Right? We saw the case with, what's his name? Senator Elijah Abo. For those of you who remember the sex toy guy, that at the sex toy shop. If I don't know if you all still remember that story, when he slapped that girl or whatever he did in that store, or threw phone at her or whatever he did to her, and knowing too well there's a CCTV camera there, so they don't even care, right? And one of the recent ones was even Femi Fani-Kayode, a former minister of the Federal Republic. So no matter how you want to call him that he's crazy or whatsoever, but he was a former minister of the Federal Republic. You saw what he did with artisans at his house. In fact, he wanted to bust a guy's head with his hammer and with a hammer, right? So how did we get here? Why are we churning out this kind of, what is the problem? So which means there's a root cause to this thing. And how do we begin to address this when we have a society where even the upcoming generation already, the young ones already are already like modern, you can already see those traits in them. So it's a very, very deep decadence, right? And so when we even talk of this pride, what led to in conclusion, because I don't want to hog the mic, what led to the situation we saw in that video? You will see pride play out on both sides. What the honorable guy did was absolutely wrong, assaulting that boat driver and everything. But on the other hand, too, talking about this, our culture of pride, right? You will see pride play out on both sides. I don't know the rules, right? I don't know the rules, the boat rules in Nigeria or whatsoever. I mean, for those of you that have been to maybe UK or US or, parts of Europe and things like that, right? Delivery people are supposed to bring your things out of the car and deliver or drop it for you or something of that nature, right? So I don't know the rules in Nigeria. So the idea of the man should come and get his item from the car, because that was what led to all this, right? Pride on both sides. No one wants to succumb. The man insisted, you must come take your item from the car and you must pay me my money. The guy insisted, oh, whatever, okay, I'll make you disappear, and all the nonsense he was saying, and it got to that point of even assaulting the guy. So what I'm saying in conclusion is simple, that we just need to tone this, our pridefulness down. It's too much. It's just too much. And it's just destroying that country in a lot of ways. Who are you? So I mean, that's just what I wanted to say, but it's crazy. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know which generation this will begin to change, but there's just a lot of work to be done, if there will be a change in this kind of behavior we're seeing. And then it's making us have this kind of stupid leaders all the time, because it's already something that is inbuilt or already imbibed in a lot of Nigerians, So it's an issue. Yeah, so I'll just be listening. I'll listen to what others have to say regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Will, for that submission. Now, my canon takeaway from your submission is centered on pride. It appears you mean that there was a very high level of pride involved, both sides. And you equally identified that there's a root cause, but you didn't elaborate much enough on the root cause from your perspective. What do you think could be the reason for that pride that Nigerians exhibit generally, as a people? Because I totally understand where you're coming from. So maybe we can even start that conversation as well, learn from each other, and probably take away something that we can work with individually and collectively to make that society better. Because as you rightly identified, the next generation, they are even coming up much, much more bolder than what we have right now. And it's simply an emergency, for lack of a better word. It's absolutely important that, you know, sane minds come together and try to address it. So what do you think is the root cause?
The root cause is, you know, I don't know if you've had this. I mean, one of the root cause, I won't say it's the only root cause. One of the root cause is, like the saying goes, hurting people hurt people, right? So ours is a society of oppression. And then when you have people, a lot of people being oppressed over time, you know, you have like excessive oppression. So when people are hurt, one of the ways a lot of people cope, you know, some people or a good number of people cope with being hurt, especially when it gets to a certain point, is also, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they hurt other people. You understand? Because and when people are angry, they are mad, and someone who is mad don't think right. And then you look at the kind of society we have, where when I talk about a society where we have a culture of oppression, because oppression, part of what, you know, pride leads to is oppression, right? You have a society where somebody, you know, it's, I mean, look at the name they gave to a generator those days, right? I get and pass my neighbor. You know, everybody is looking for an avenue to, you know, to exhibit that pridefulness. So it's a society that, you know, one of the roots also is, how do I put it? Because of the way people value, you know, the way those people, it's a society where people worship rich people. They don't care how you make your money and things like that. It's a society where they worship people with connections. Like, so it's a society where there's just a lot of worshiping. And so, and because people have noticed that, okay, this is what goes on in the kind of society that I'm in. So if I don't have it, I have to look for a way to fake it. And that's why you see somebody who probably has no connection anywhere. Somebody who probably, when you look at their bank account, they don't have up to 100K in there or anything. But guess what? When an argument ensues in a boss, you hear something like, do you know who I am? I ask again, who are you? You understand? So is that, you know, it's just, and then some people, another root cause to it is some people employ that as a defense mechanism. You know, they see that as a way to kind of shield themselves from oppression. And unknowingly to them, in the course of trying to do that, you know, be that prideful to shield themselves from oppression, they end up becoming an oppressor on their own, because they end up oppressing people in guise or in a way to kind of like, okay, if I don't do this, people are going to take me for granted. So let me oppress this person, let me oppress these people, let me do this or let me do that. So there's just a lot of root cause to it. And that's why I say a lot of work needs to be done. And we have what you call these guys, you know, national orientation, whatever. It's literally moribund and almost non-existent, useless organization that I don't even know what they are doing. So there's a lot of things that an organization like that should be working on in terms of orientation, and because it's over time, things like that, that kind of change in a society don't happen overnight. But if you're not careful, it trickles down generations unborn. Because as these ones are living and dying off, other upcoming generations are picking up that behavior, are picking up that character. And what happens? A lot of them goes to the place of power. A lot of them ends up in positions of power, and they start exhibiting this nonsense that we see on cameras, you know, from so-called honorables and everything, and then just disgracing themselves and wherever, you know, position they hold. So those are the problems, you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Will. Now, let me engage you one more time, if you don't mind. Don't you think the situation or the prime suspect in this case is as a result of a breakdown of rule of law? Consider a scenario or a picture where you have a functional democracy where rule of law is strictly adhered to. You park your car somewhere where you're not supposed to park it, you pick up a ticket immediately. No one cares about your status. If it is highly respected, do you think it will control this excessive pride that Nigerians carry themselves around with? Because as you and I will both know, justice can easily be bought in Nigeria. And that's one of the things that made that young man to say, I will make you disappear, nothing will happen. Because he believes he has a lot of power somewhere behind the scene to make things happen. And we all know that's exactly the situation in that country. Barrister Juliet equally alluded to that. Don't you think the prime suspect here is simply the breakdown of rule of law or functional democracy as it should be? Will, that question is for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because one of the things that, when a state is, headed to a failed state, or when a country is headed to a failed state, one of the things that starts actually breaking down is the rule of law. And we've seen that over the years, especially in the last 8 years. It's been there over time, but process. But it's like the last 8 years or the last 9 years, there was this, it's like it's expedited, right? It's like there's this speed at the decay of, the Nigerian judiciary. So the rule of law, basically, when it breaks down, that's why those who are engaged in a state capture in any country, one of the things, or what seals their state capture is actually capturing the judiciary. The moment you capture the judiciary, that's why you see Wike, the APC guys or the guys in power right now are doing everything. They are building. If they have their way, they'll buy private jets for those judges. I don't know if they might have such plans. I won't be surprised, So they are building mansions for them and doing everything for them because they know that is the last catch. The moment they already have the judiciary in their pocket, but not 100%. So they are heading to that point where it is absolute. What they want is what the judiciary would do. So they are already, on that route. So basically, it's the rule of law. We live in a society where you see police will tell you, I will shoot you, and nothing would happen, and nothing will happen. And so, before now, I don't know if they've started, prosecuting police or, doing things to them when they do that, shoot people and all that, especially before the ENDSears protests and everything. Truly, they will shoot you and nothing will happen. Like we saw with the guy, the most recent one in Enugu, the Ogene musician guy that was shot dead for absolutely no reason up till now has been given, right? So there's no reason. So they will shoot you. And so when people see that, okay, there's no checks and balances, there is no what you call it, consequences for bad behavior. That's why you see, sincerely speaking, we don't have a society that people are just bad in Nigeria like that. It's not like, oh, Nigeria has just bad people. Oh, maybe New Zealand or Saudi Arabia or US or wherever has just good people. No, right? So some of these working countries or countries that have relatively, sanity, right? It's not because there are no bad people there. There are bad people all over the freaking world, anywhere, even in Vatican, right? So what checks people? What keep bad people in check? What scares them away is the same thing you mentioned, the rule of law, consequences, people paying for their bad behavior. It doesn't matter who you are, but ours is a society where you have connection, you are above the law. Before an election, someone threatened, those of you that remember Iyachukudi, someone threatened in an election in a democracy that a certain people from a certain tribe should not come out to vote. If they do, whatever they see, they should take it. And those who are supposed to enforce the law in the country called it a joke. And guess what? The person carried out the threat. People were maimed, people were disfigured, some died, and everything. And this guy wasn't even called for questioning, let alone being arrested, let alone being, prosecuted, or let alone being sent to jail. And you tell me people are not above the law in that country? So you see, so that's what happens. So definitely, the answer to your question is yes. It's when there's no rule of law, then it's gonna create a lot of pride, especially to those who have connection and money and those who have powers, because they know they can do anything and get away, including murder. They kill you in broad daylight and nothing will happen. Lastly, during that last election, general election, a senator, remind me, a senator or honorable member, one of the guys in either Senate or House of Reps in Kano, those of you that remember, he set people in a house ablaze, burnt them alive. That guy is one of those still making, bro, man, where do I start? Where do I stop? You understand? Burnt human beings, about 14 people or thereabout, he burnt them alive just because of, partisan, because, I've forgotten how the whole thing went, but he burnt people alive and nothing happened. So you could literally come out in broad daylight, shoot people dead, and nothing will happen. You saw that during was it during ENDSears protest or whatever? That guy that came out in his car and shot somebody dead, and then the guy that captured it on camera, I don't know if the guy is a journalist or whatsoever. That guy, is it that he disappeared or they killed him? I think they killed. Yeah, he died. They killed him, right? Yeah, they killed him, right? And nothing happened. So, bro, you could come out in broad daylight and say, hey, you come there, boom, shoot person, or use machete and cut down someone's head, and nothing will happen. So rule of law gone. So banana republic, that's how it's built, and that's how it failed. That's how you know a failing state. I wouldn't say Nigeria is absolutely a failed state now, but it's headed there. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Will. Thank you. That was very, very enlightening. You're spot on, absolutely spot on. Nigeria is heading that way gradually. Anyway, end bad governance. End bad governance. You get Madam Integrity. End bad governance. Go ahead, end bad governance.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I will start my submission with a story. While growing up, I got admission into the university. So
wait. We're getting a lot of feedback where you are.
Okay, let me move away from it. Can you hear me? Is it clear now?
Yes, much better. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. So while growing up, I got admission into university, and I went to my aunt's house. She invited me to pick up a box. So I went and picked up the box, and I was headed home, and a group of friends that we grew up together were escorting. So I asked one of them to drop me off at Barnex Junction in Abuja. And he said no. Why? Because while we were younger, there was an incident where I slapped him. And that was because I felt like I was bigger than him at the time and more strong and all of that. And when I really needed his help, he declined me. And the reason for this story is when I was listening to Will E, he made a lot of sense, right? About one of the root causes of what's going on in Nigeria. And I experienced it firsthand, because when you don't even need to have financial or connections or anything like that, if you feel superior, but the way the society is, you're wired automatically to be in self-defense, right? And it comes from a feeling of inferiority complex also. And it affects a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians, and it leads to, what we see where people get into power, they begin to misbehave because of the power they have, and, oppress their fellow citizens and all of that. So looking at this guy's issue, it's really crazy. And it's because there is no retribution in Nigerian society. People do things and they get away with a lot. Just like he said, people do a lot of crazy things that are not caught on camera on a daily, and they get no retribution, including the one we hear on the news, right? You know, people stealing huge sums of money and absolutely nothing is done to them. So it builds up a psyche in the society. Like, if I can just, you know, bluff my way through it, you know, I might just get away with anything. And other generations pick it up, and it's a lifestyle. So the solution to this, if in my opinion, is a total reorientation. You know, and the NOA hasn't been doing much of that. I saw one of their videos the other day, and they were just talking some happy-go-ish shit about Nigeria, and you know, saying things that were not true. You know, that's not the kind of reorientation we need. You know, people need to be taught from the basics, from school. You know, primary school education. You know, teaching the young ones coming up real values, and you know, and not what we see displayed on the TV. You know, so. Anyway, I hope the guy gets justice, and I don't know if anything will be done to this honorable Alex. You know. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Just another quick reminder that we are live on Njenje TV as we speak right now, and I'm getting messages that some individuals actually missed the subject matter of this space, and they don't know exactly what it's about. I think they haven't seen the video that actually, because all day there's been different spaces because discussing this specific topic. It's about the House of Rep member Alex Ikwechehg from Abia North, if I'm not mistaken, that assaulted a boat driver who went to deliver something he ordered, and it resulted in kind of, you know, fracas between both of them, primarily by the senator, or rather the lawmaker. He assaulted the young man, and that's why we're having this conversation, leading to, you know, basically all facets of our society, the pride, democracy, how far we've come, and all of that. And that's why we've been having this extensive conversation. I would like to take a moment and repeat that conversation, that video again, just for those that haven't had the privilege to hear it. So just give me a moment, please.
Do you know who I am? That's fine. How dare you? Did you know where you are? Do you know who I am? I don't want to know, sir. Just give me the money. So you think I'll give you my money with the way you have spoken to me? I did a job for you and you have to pay it, sir. You will not see any, you will not see penny from me. With this level of disrespect, you're very stupid. Very, very stupid. Madam, who is this stupid boy that you sent to this my house? Who is this foolish boy that you sent to my house?
I hope it's loud enough for everyone to pick up the conversation.
How can this stupid idiot come to my house and tell me that I'm supposed to come and meet him in his car, pick up smell that I'm buying from you? Can you imagine this rat? I can make this man to disappear in the whole Nigeria and nothing will happen. Can you imagine this rat? I'm not going to give this boy 1 naira of my money. No. I'm not going to give this silly boy 1 naira of my money. You've been insulting me, sir, and I'm being quiet. I pray that you do. I pray that you insult me. Can you please insult me? I'm not going to call my policemen to beat you up. I will beat you up. I will show you that I'm a big brother to you. I will slap the hell out of you and I will lie you down, locking in my generator house. How dare you? Why should you do that? What the hell do you know who you're talking to? Do you know where you are? Because you saw me sitting outside here. It doesn't matter, sir. Pay me, let me go. Look at this monkey. I don't care what I am. Are you even looking at me that you can beat me? Or are you looking at me? What? Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Do you know who I am? I'm a senator of this republic. Do you know who the fuck I am? How dare you? Are you slapping me, sir? You see this place? You suffer. I'll deal with you. Are you slapping me, sir?
I just did. Slap me back. Okay. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
That's fine.
How dare? Do you know who I am?
That's fine.
How dare you?
Did you just slap me 3 times, sir?
Twice. The third one, you will soon receive it. How dare you? Come on, get out of this place.
I need my payment, sir.
Come on,
all right, so this is where I am. I just got 3 slaps from this man. Yeah. Just because I told him to come and get his stuff and pay me my money. So he's claiming that
Tell them, my name is Honorable Alex Ikwechehg. I'm a member of the House of Reps. Tell them I slapped you.
Okay.
Call the Inspector General of Police. Call him, let him come.
Okay, sir.
Record me very well. Record me very well.
All right. That's nice.
You came to my house to disrespect me?
I didn't disrespect you. I said pay me my money and let me leave.
Come on, give me that phone. You know where you are?
So that was 3 slaps in total. He called the young man a rat, a monkey, and he identified himself as a honorable member of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now we can start asking ourselves questions. Was what he did there, was that really honorable? This is my own opinion now. I have actually always questioned why we add that keyword honorable to these men or women in there when they haven't earned it in the first place. But that's a subject for another day. And I hope that with that, we've set the ball rolling again for further conversation. Barrister Juliet, I see you raising your hand. So please, come on, feel free. Your guest speaker today, kindly chip in anytime. Go ahead, please.
Oh my God. Yes, why I raised my hands was because the part of the slaps, I think I came also in, I think when I heard those, I didn't hear those slaps at that time. So that was why I used the word allegedly, but I wanted to really correct it that he actually slapped that man and many times because I didn't want to really say it because I did not hear it in the video. But hearing those slaps, no. I think the thing is when we were talking about issues of the law and all, like I even forgot to add the breach of contract. I don't know if he even paid him the money. This is also another angle. The man should just sue him. A lot of things around this thing should be sued, but we cannot. We'll talk about suing because even Abo, even when he was sued, I think the court also yes, they also granted the plaintiff some money. So yes, there is still hope in the justice if we all continue to cry out like this and he takes up his right to actually sue this representative. So I was just looking at another angle to it. That aside, also there's also more to the criminal angle, but even the civil angle. So we're also looking at the breach of contract because there's a contract between all 3. He already agreed that he was going to pay. I don't know what their understanding from the conversation with the other woman. He was actually to pay the man, and all those thoughts, the law of thoughts. I mean, the principle of thoughts, yeah. So the assault and all that, he can actually go to the civil wing and he should not sleep on his right. This matter right now will actually serve as a deterrence to others, which he should not sleep on his right. So there are angles to this, and I wanted to actually clarify that part. That was why I raised up my hand. I heard those slaps, and you see, this actually puts to bear what if it was even a lady, that one she would never have mouth to even be carrying the phone because in terms of strength, the man I'm sure would understand that it's man to man. So okay, if he gets defensive, this man may even be a bit defensive. Imagine if it was even a weaker versus someone who was younger or a young lady. That time of the night, we don't even know what would have even happened. This also mirrors out what happens to people on the streets of life in that country, in Nigeria. So it's something else. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Can I ask Barrister Juliet a question if you...
Go ahead, Will. We're having an open interaction, educating ourselves here. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, talking about breach of contract, because, when things like this happen, I like to look things, apart from the fact that, one of them have actually gone overboard, because assaulting someone that way is, yeah, that's just too much, right? So aside from, so when we talk about breach of contract, is it right that we also, because, when you say breach of contract, we're looking at the part of him paying the man, right? So is it also, right that we also include the service, because contract is both ways, right? So, and that's why if you're listening to when I started talking, I didn't study law, so I don't know much about, law of tort or whatever law that covers that, right? So in this case, we have a situation where is demand and supply, right? You render a service and I pay you for your service. So which also which also says that, okay, if your service is also not fully rendered, then there's a problem. And so in this case now, should we also say, because like I said, if you're listening to the first time I spoke, I don't know the rules that guides both. I don't know how it works in Nigeria. I don't know how they do it. Are you supposed to go pick your item when they deliver things? Are you the one who is supposed to go to the car to pick up things or something like that? To me, personally, I feel that's dangerous, right? And I mean, what if it's a setup and people are trying to kidnap me or throw me into the car as soon as I go close to it or something of that nature? I mean, I digress. So now, if normally, like I've seen in other societies, delivery people, when they bring your item, they are supposed to bring it out of the car, and except if they carried you, right? Except maybe an Uber or Bolt carried you, were in that car, and then you alighted, and then they open the boot, and then you have to pick up your item. But if it's an item that is being brought to you, or food that you ordered, or an item that you ordered for that is being brought to you, I mean, normally they deliver it to you. In fact, they bring it to your doorstep, knock at your door, drop it there, right? And some, depending on the importance of the item, if it's an important item or an expensive item or something of that nature, they knock and wait for you to come out. If no one comes out, they're going to take it back, because they don't want to stand the risk of dropping it there and someone comes to steal it, right? And so my question now is, should we say, I mean, nobody, please, nobody here should see what I'm saying right now as a support to anybody, as if I'm supporting the dishonorable member or what have you, right? I'm just looking at this from a law and contract perspective, right? So, Barrister Juliet, so should we say that if at all the rule with both, which we don't know right now, if at all the rule with both states that when the drivers deliver item, they're supposed to deliver. Like when they say deliver means you have to deliver. You don't leave things in your car and say, come pick it up. I mean, I don't see that as complete delivery. So, but if the rule says that they are supposed to actually get this item out of their car and go give it to the person or drop it at the doorstep of whoever, owns it or have to have it, right? If that's what both rule says, so is it also right for us to say that the driver also breached contract? That's my question to you, Barrister Juliet.
Okay. So what you're talking about is arts and performances. So first of all, the first branch of this contract between both parties, because a contract can involve 3 or more parties or 2 or more parties. Now, the person who called him to go get this delivery, there's also a contract with her. But the delivery end of the product was to get to this representative in question to go to accept this package, which I'm sure the other lady must have communicated to him, and the Uber driver had already accepted to, the boat driver had already accepted to take this delivery there. Now, if we remember the interview he gave to Very Dark Man, he said something about he tried the numbers and he saw the man sitting down, and then he tried the number before he could even say, okay, this is actually the person I'm able to give this thing to. And he made a statement with respect to the attitude of the man when he came out of the car. meaning that they already had an altercation. The mood was already a bit tense. Normally, like you said, acts and performances of most boat drivers, or even when you book them, you're even highlighting. Most times they help you even bring down your own suitcase. Now, this is not even about delivery right now. They even say, okay, a lot of times, not just in Nigeria, even abroad, they go as far back as even helping you bring your suitcase, open their boots and bring it to them. Now, in this very scenario, we can even say from the narration he gave to Derry Darkman, there was a little bit of tension from the moment he saw the man sitting, those calls and all that. But before I would just stick to the angle of, did he accept the package? If yes, they should have just come into an harmonization to say, okay, why didn't you bring this down and sort it out? But going ahead to start, I think where this thing now went overboard was the fact there was assault. And there was an abuse done to this man. There was an assault. Yes, the word is battery. Yes, because I'm looking at the civil angle. That's why I want to use the correct word. Not just assault, there was also battery. And there was also from the criminal angle, there was threat to life. See, this matter we're even looking at, if this man really means business, there is so much against this representative. So those were the angles I wanted to highlight. There's threat to life is very odd. Thank God. That's why I was talking about the pros of social media. It helps us even appreciate evidence so very well and facts. There's threat to life. Now, for the issue of the bridge, if he could have still have paid, but honestly, he should have paid because I'm sure he had collected the goods. Now, the aspect of going down from your car to go get, that's where it's a bit tricky. And I'm not a judge in this matter. I can only highlight certain things. Like I said, acts and performances, most time, mode of conduct, the other party just most helps to bring it or is mandated to bring it. I do not know the ethics, the laws of both. Those are their way, they know how. That's why most time we are always encouraged to read contracts, read what we sign. But now in these date and times, we're always quick to sign. When they just say, yeah, sign here, we sign. We don't read into to. It's only someone who is in the legal department or who has their ethics and knows what their modus operandi of their Uber driver should be, because we are only bystanders to the mode of operandi of the operation, the modus operandi of logistics company. What do they operate by? Is the company that will actually tell us this. And because how you interpret contracts is from the terms, sometimes the mode of practice. But we cannot say mode of practice right now because we don't know what is the obligation of the Uber driver to this man in question. And if the man had accepted his package, his duty was actually to pay the boat driver. Then other wings that we talked about the abuse and all that, the battery, those ones are crimes, and they also have torts. The principle of torts apply to all of them, and he should actually sue him. So those are just certain things to these issues.
Thank you, Barrister Julia.
Can I quickly lend me 1 cent, please?
Now, Mr. Black African, what was that? Black African Panda, you just committed an offense we don't tolerate on the 1MMC platform. You wait for your turn, please. Okay? But in any case, Madam Integrity, you've had your hand up, Paul. Please go ahead, chip in. Madam Integrity, are you there? All right, it seems like she's not there. So Black African Panda, it's your turn now. You may proceed, please. Unmute and speak.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tony. Apologies for doing that. I actually was just seeking approval to proceed to talk. And yeah, thanks for granting me the mic. Quick thing I just wanted to say, yeah, I heard when Will said earlier on, and he was trying to place pride as the reason on both sides. That was kind of like the reason why I requested the mic to kind of like make some clarity here. I think on the part of the boat driver, you can say he probably wasn't professional enough, depending on, again, what his job was to be. Was his job to deliver the item from point A to point B, or was the job to deliver the item and hand it over to the customer? Again, it can be discretionary at some point, or depending on whatever contract he has signed. So this is the deal here. The thing is this. I think from that video, I see someone that has pride, and I want to see like it's actually one-sided on the part of Alex himself, which is the House of Rep member. He wanted to prove a point, basically. He wanted to prove a point. Because if you're that strong and you say you're man enough, or you beat this guy up, that means you should be strong enough to go get your stuff. You shouldn't be scared. If you know that, oh, you're a big brother to this guy, like you can beat him up, you can do whatever, like you're strong enough, then what is it that you're scared about? Like, go grab your stuff in front of your gate and take it in. Again, that situation on ground there really does not cause for any rancor. The only thing I fear is, and you've mentioned some things that are very critical here. You mentioned case of, what if the honorable member goes and he's afraid of getting kidnapped or whatever? Then we should be talking about insecurity also in our space. There are more to that. Because, like you said, in some parts of the world, like even if you're not at home, they try to call you, they ring your doorbell. Some of them will just ring your doorbell and drop your box off in front of your house, and off they go. Because, again, there's a part of insurance that if you come and report your item missing, insurance will be able to cater for that. So, like, there are lots of nuances here, but again, I see foundational and fundamental issues wrong with our society here. It's fundamental issues wrong with our society. Because at the end of the day, like, this guy has delivered again. This guy knows that as he has delivered the stuff to the man, also know that fuel prices are not very cheap these days. You can't tell the distance he has covered, and you don't know if he goes back with the item, if he will be compensated for that, that runs that he made without delivering. Because it's a thing for you to deliver something, and it's his personal vehicle. It's a thing for him to deliver something. It's a thing for him, to see the person, and the person is not willing to take it. It's a thing for him to say, okay, Oga, don't worry, if you're not willing to take it, you're not willing to pay me, I'll take your stuff back to who gave it to me to deliver to you. And technically, that person that gave it to him should be able to compensate him for the time spent to trying to deliver. So this guy also understands that if I take it back, I may not get compensated because apparently in the Nigeria context, the service was not, completed. So it was a case of, Oga, I don't already reach your house. I don't spend money for fuel. You have to pay me. So it was a case of that. And the man on the other side is, okay, I'm bigger than you. I have power. I have connection. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to teach you a lesson. I mean, something, there's even the Holy Book says, simple answer turneth away wrath. The honorable member will have said, can you help me bring it? Like, if he has appealed, like, bros, help me bring this thing. I'm not sure this guy will have, gone the way he went. That's one. Secondly, bros, if you don't want to give me this thing, return and go give the person back. Me and the person, we go talk about how the thing will get to me. It wouldn't have gotten escalated to this point. If this guy in question has a kind of like a safety net where, he doesn't really have to tell this person to pay him for the time and maybe the resources used, the guy simply would have said, Oga, if you don't want to come pick your thief for inside my car, I will return it back to who sent me, knowing fully well that if he returns it back, it's not like he's going to get compensated for his time, and also for the resources spent. So, in as much as there are many things that are kind of like in all of this short clip that was seen, there are things that we see again that we can trace back to the nuances of our society. But I think, as a matter of fact, someone was just trying to prove a point, trying to prove I have power, I have connection, I'm going to deal with you, because all of his walking about, the time he even went to use to call that woman and make that call, like, whatever that thing may be, you will have just gone to the car and grab it. And I also don't think the thing probably is a very small item, in my opinion. Again, we didn't see the item, we don't know what the content of the item is, but I'm just stipulating here because if it's a small item and this guy apparently has parked this car, if it's something like food that he can easily carry, like in a bag or something, it would have easily taken it along and while he's trying to make the call, so that once he sees the person, he hands it over. And this guy also might have had bad experiences of, like delivering to customers and not having customers paying. So there are lots of things there, but I think at the end of the whole thing, the honorable member will have actually been honorable in his speeches, in his actions, and the way and manner in which he conducted himself. I mean, that you are elected, you're supposed to be a servant, a servant to either the constituency that directly elects you, or a good example to the rest of Nigerians as a whole. So yes, I think for all it may be, for all it may cost, this guy should pursue this to a very logical conclusion. And I think above all, there should be kind of like they should make public example of this individual, because if people are continually cheated, and you mentioned lots of names and a lot of names. Yes, Elisha Abo is one very popular event. Like, nobody saw to the end of it. But if people have made public examples of issues and stuff like this, other people will fall in line with the rule of law. Thank you for your time.
Wow. Black African Panda. That was a beautiful one. You pretty much repeated everything that Will said, but rather using different words entirely. But the message completely got it. It comes down to the society itself. Now, a moment ago, I don't know if you heard me when I asked Will if it has anything to do with the rule of law fundamentally. I'm talking about the flaws we have in our society, where pride, one way or the other, appears to be the norm. When elected officials are supposed to be servant leaders, why is it so easy for them to assume that they are demigods all of a sudden? What do you think? What's your thoughts on that? Barrister Juliet, please hold your thought for a second. Let me pick Black African Panda's brain a bit. Go ahead, Black African Panda, please.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. I think, as a matter of fact, I think even pride may be the wrong choice of word. I think arrogance actually is the thing here. People can be proud. Like, you can be proud, but your pride should not kind of like impact negatively the next person or your neighbor. You can be proud within the context of who you are, provided it's not like, again, taking pride in your work or like leading by example can be something of pride also. So I think in this instance, it's more of arrogance. This guy is more arrogant. And yes, like I said, if there is outright respect for the rule of law, first and foremost, like, this guy will not even raise his hand and slap this guy. And he was confirming, yes, I've given you 2 slaps, I will give you 1 more. Like, I don't understand. I mean, like, if it is where rule of law prevails and everybody kind of like, there are precedents that have been made public examples. And we've seen that in places of the world. You punch one person, the person will not even return the punch, because the person knows that if you can do the crime, then you should be able to do the time. Then if the people are allowed to face the full consequences of their actions, and they are made public examples, like, on our TV stations, like, we see crimes reported in this part of the world. We see kind of like, journalists like air it for public people, like the public to follow through with, like the crime, the consequences, and eventually the decisions of those crimes. But I think in Nigeria, we've not seen our press follow through with the decision and the consequences of many of those actions. And that's why till today, some of us are still asking ourselves, yes, Clifford Orji, till today, some of us don't know what happened to the other lady that killed whatever guy in Lekki or Aja, the young girl, the young lady. Some of us don't know what happened to Elisha Abo's case till today. So when cases start and the end are not being televised or kind of like publicized so that it can serve as deterrent to others, then that's kind of like justice delay is justice denied. That means truly, like, there is something with our justice system, there's something with our rule of law, and people can think that, yes, they can evade it. If Elisha Abo can do it, slap people in open places and damn the consequences and nothing happened to him, so like this honorable too can think, yeah, I will do it. You will get missing and nobody will look for you, because like they arrogate some kind of like powers to themselves which are non-constitutional. So I think, yes, if the rule of law reigns supreme, people will fall in line and people will curtail their excesses and their pride within the limit to which it does not impact the other persons negatively.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. You know, this is one of the beauty of having this conversation on this platform. We learn from each other and we get to understand things from the perspective of the law. And that's why I'll ask Barrister Juliet. I see you raising up your hand. I'm sure you have a legal angle to add to the conversation. Please go ahead. Let's have you. Let's hear your thoughts.
No, I wanted to actually give into Abu's case. Abu's case reached its conclusion in the trial. I don't know whether he appealed the matter because I remember not too long, I think months or I think a year ago, the court awarded 50 million against him to the other lady, the lady in question. I think one makes the shop person that was abused. Yes, 15 million was awarded to her. So I don't know how they went about if the judgment was enforced, because one thing to give judgment, we don't know about the enforceability. So it reached conclusion. Then another thing I wanted to say was the package. I wanted to give him a clearer perspective of what was said. That it's like a food. So the package itself is a food because he made mention of going to a garden. And during that conversation that you played, Mr. Tony, I heard something like the thing you prepared for me. So it's the food that was in the car. So that was what I wanted to give him more clear insight while he was speaking.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. All right. I see Will, you're raising up your hand, Black African Panda as well. But please, let's have Demi Upson. It's me here. And we'll just circle back real quick to get your thoughts. Demi, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I've been listening to everybody's speak and I haven't watched the video in question. I believe it's a very dishonorable thing that the so-called honorable actually
Demi, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I can't hear you clearly. I don't know if I'm the only one. Barrister Juliet, anyone on the speaker section, can you hear him clearly?
Yeah, not clear.
It's not clear.
His voice is muffled.
No.
Are you putting on a pair of earpiece?
Yes. I'm using my earbuds right now.
Well, all right, go ahead. Go ahead. It sounds a bit clearer. Maybe we can get you now. Go ahead. Now I can't hear him anymore. Is it only me?
We can't hear him.
Okay. All right, Demi, sorry, we can't hear you. You might need to drop and come right back, okay? So, and while we wait for you, let's go real quick to Area Father. Area Father, you're the man. Go ahead, please. Unmute and speak.
I won't waste that. Good evening. Can you hear me? So, good evening.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. I heard what my brother was saying something just now. Let me say something that you people don't like. Some of us have the same character. Even whether you're a senator, you're a president, whether you're a leader, even a husband or housewife, some of us has the same character. This is not about senator. This is not about House of Rep. This is not about a leader, whether constitutional or not. This character, some of us have it. Some of us have the same funny, bad character going around us. This is not about, see, remove all this constitutional, whatever we are talking about. See, some of us here, we have this same bad character, toxic character that is following us all about. Because why? Some of us here, we live a life where we think, because this is not about Senate or House of Rep. Some of us, we know we have some of us have money. Those people who walk around us, who work for us. Do you know what a lot of people go through in the hands of people like this, who are not even Senator or House of Rep? Eh? How can somebody? I had an issue yesterday. A lady was working for somebody, and the woman's daughter was not feeling fine. The man in question said he cannot release a 2-month salary that he has been holding this lady because the lady couldn't complete his job. And the daughter in question is sick. I met that lady in a pharmacy shop begging for help. I ran into her because my daughter was suffering from pneumonia on Saturday. She couldn't buy how do they call it now? What was this antibiotics drug now? He couldn't buy an antibiotics drug. Cefuroxime or so. Cefuroxime costs almost close to 5,000 naira. He couldn't buy it because the person in question that she has been working for couldn't pay her 2 months salary rate. Because why? Just hold it because he has the power in question. My brother said, I don't like to come space to come talk because it's been long I don't like coming to space to talk sometimes. See, let me be frank and honest. Now God go punish some of us we get the same bad character. Some of us will come to spaces and talk nicely, talk as if, see, the day when the camera face you, go no see some of us go no see you get bad character. That lady is that was forced from my own pocket, even when I don't have, forced from my own pocket just to get a antibiotic drugs for her. And she's working for somebody else. Let me be frank and honest. Nigerians, outside the senators' house of rep, some of us are wicked. Wickedness. Now our limelight. Our limelight. Now that we Nigerians, some of us are wicked. It's not about power. This is not about power. This is not about power. Forget, I don't want to talk about this guy because if I want to say something about this guy is an animal. And I wonder how he treats his family. I wonder how he treats his wife. I wonder how he treats his in-laws, even friends. Because when you have power, even when this is not power. When you have money, you can do all kind of shit in Nigeria. Nobody will talk to you. So it's not a new thing. It's just that God just caught him. God just want to disgrace him. I was seeing somebody saying he fall into the trap. Which trap did he fall into? Some of us here, we have bad character. The way that young man has it also. People will work for you, will not pay the person. Somebody will be working, even work up to Sundays. Then we are here coming to come and give them. See, we should need to start checking our minds. Our mindset, we need to start working on it. This is not about Senate or House of Rep or one constitutional, whatever. It has been happening, and it will keep happening. So I always tell people, before you come here to come and give up any submission, you check yourself. If other people who are working for you, you are still doing the same thing to them. Because there's no difference between you and that young man. I healed the mic. My good evening.
Area Father, thank you. Yeah. We all have our devil in us. That's basically what you're saying. It's not only about that young man. But we must not forget that that young man represents a constituent in a republic. So under normal circumstances, he should have carried himself somehow on a higher pedestal, knowing very well the responsibility he had on his shoulder, or probably still has. He assaulted a young man.
Tony, I want to ask you something. Because he is carrying responsibility on his shoulders, does it mean he have to act like an angel? Because if he knew quite well that he's representing a community, a state, and this is not. I don't think this is the first time he has been doing this. I don't think so. I never believe so. Because if you can hit a fellow man like you, and you are proud of saying it, you are going to get him lost. My brother, leave this thing. Let me give you a very simple example. There's something that happened where I live in Delta State. The governor's house is not far from my house. His own somebody, he will get him disappeared because the person challenged him because of the wrong road that is going on in Delta State. Were you not here? Did you not see the video of a young man in Sapele who came out and said a road in Sapele, share road in Sapele was so bad, he did a video even bathing on the road. And the governor himself or whoever himself in authority came to pick that young man up. What do you call that? Is it not a God called leadership? What do you want to call that? That thing happened 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in Saple. Brother Abeman not make me the verse. Because he has a constitution, he's representing the community. Does it mean that he's an angel? Before they voted him there, don't you think he's an animal? He has been an animal, he's behaving all this while like this? I don't believe that. Don't forget, my brother, don't get this thing started. I don't believe that. The constitution doesn't change the mindset of a man. If you're a bad man, you're a bad man. If you're a good leader, you're a good leader. It's not about the constitution. If people voted you there and you know the responsibility that is hanging on your shoulders, you should be able to know what to do. Even when you're not even a leader, leading other people, you should be able to have respect for people. Humanity in the first place. I just gave a word just now. Somebody who have been working with for somebody for 2 months, he couldn't pay the lady's monthly fee. And the lady's daughter is suffering. What do you call that? I say, man, I'm not the guy to pen this thing. That guy is an animal. He's a fucking animal.
Calm down, area father. Calm down. We are both saying the same thing. I wasn't praising what he did. What I said was that if that guy knew the responsibility on his shoulder, he would have conducted himself differently. We're pretty much saying the same thing. But obviously, he didn't. Okay? I don't want to use the word animal, like I said, though, but we all know exactly the kind of person he is. It's a fundamental problem in the country. We'll have the same opinion. Black African Panther, you the same thing. Barrister Juliet alluded to it using different words, but we all got the message. But anyway, let's move on real quick to Barrister Juliet because we'll be rounding up at the top of the hour. We have Kachi here.
Sorry, I'll have a question, please. When you
integrity, we've been looking for you the past 24 hours.
I'm so sorry, I was in a meeting. I just finished. Sorry about that.
All right, go ahead, please, real quick.
Okay, sorry about that. I have to, yeah. So I had a quick question when I think Will, I'm not sure, I think it was Will. My phone wasn't really, indicating who was speaking, but I think, yeah, when he talked about pride, that the Uber guy Bolt guy was, it was the result of pride, and that was the reason why he did not take the package directly to the door of the belligerent lawmaker. I use Uber a lot here for deliveries. Some will come, I live in an estate. You don't just come in without, the gate being open for you. So at times, we'll have some that would wait for the gate to be open and they come in directly, find the house and deliver. Some will be scared to come in, because I'm not sure how they will get out. And they would just call me, and I'll have either go, or if I'm busy, I can just tell my husband to just quickly, take a walk and go pick up the packet. But the issue is that guy was already within a close, distance to the senator, to the lawmaker's place. He was already there. From what I could, because I watched that video over and over again. Not as if he was far away. So I don't really think that you necessarily, or Uber drivers, or Bolt drivers, have to necessarily go to that person's door. And we're talking about Nigeria here. There's no way you can compare how things are done abroad, where you can use your social security, you can use the phone to track people, know where they are. This even happened at night. So I don't think it's has anything to do with pride. I think we should applaud that Bolt driver. We should applaud him because unlike that of Femi Fani Kayode, I don't know if you guys recall when Fami Fani-Kayode, there was these same lines. I think there's something wrong with these lawmakers and Nigerians as a whole. I mean, maybe not all of us. You know who I am. If you recall, Fami Fani-Kayode, when he had his own episode in Calabar, it was also those same lines, do you know who I am? You know, and the journalist who was actually doing his job started apologizing. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I don't know if you guys recall. So, which I thought was even the most annoying part of the whole, that of Femi Fani-Kayode, where the journalist started apologizing. So we must commend that guy. I was quite impressed because the average Nigerian will start to beg. Oh, sorry, sir. Oh, okay, you are stupid. Sorry, sir. You are an idiot. Sorry, sir. Which is ridiculous. But you saw that guy, despite the fact that, I mean, I'm sure the senator that guy had a policeman and all that. I'm sure Maitama is not for, I mean, it's a highbrow area. That guy still stood his ground. You know, he didn't cower. You know, so we must commend that the way he acted, the way we should have people act more like that. More citizens stand on your ground. Stand your ground. You're a human being. You're a citizen. That lawmaker does not have more right than him. And all this nonsense about I'm older than you. We need to stop that really ridiculous mentality that because you're older than somebody, and the person should shut up when you, the older person, is misbehaving. And we have used that to oppress the very uninformed in a place like Nigeria, the helpless, people who are not ready to stand on the because generally the typical Nigerian is raised to apologize when somebody who is has more authority is or more power or more money when they're dealing with such people. But that bold guy, I was very impressed with how he, gave me my money. You slapped me and he took a video. So you see that guy also is educated. And what makes it more sad is if we look deeper, we'll find out that guy is doing that job because he doesn't have a choice. Because he spoke really well. If you listen to him, he sounded very educated. He should be in an office doing, something, more, what do you call it? More befitting or more beneficial, But he's doing that, and at the same time, we want to insult people like that, people who, despite the suffering, despite the stress, no light, no water, insecurity, you don't have a job. Even if you have a job, it might not even pay you, and even if they pay you, it might not, and then you make it worse for the person. So I don't think it's a thing of pride. It was late at night. There's nothing wrong if an Uber driver gets within a good distance and calls you to come and pick up your stuff. We know a lot of things are going on in Nigeria right now. He was just trying to be careful, protect himself. So I don't think there's any reason to call that pride. There is no reason to call that pride. We just have, I think the issue is not whether it was delivered or not. The issue was the conduct of the lawmaker, the threats, the slapping him. I mean, why would you slap him? Come on. Why are we so aggressive in Nigeria? That's another aspect we have not tackled. A typical Nigerian person is very aggressive, physically aggressive, violent. We also, those are part of what we should also talk about. We praise physical abuse. We praise violence. Okay, we just slap them, just worse than one slap. It's a normal thing for us. And I think as we also talk about do you know who I am, all the nonsense, ridiculous attitudes that we put up as people, we should also discuss that violent aspect. Why do we think that the solutions to issues is violence? It's also a major problem we have back home. People praise violence. People think violence is the solution. Because that man could have just taken the what do you call it? Taken the snail. And I don't even know why snail should be such. I don't even know who even delivers snail at night. Anyway, that's a different story. You know? So I think that guy, if I'm his lawyer, I will defend him to the letter. I don't think that guy did anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. No. Because he, even if you watch the video, he actually collected the package and insisted he wasn't going to pay the guy. And the ridiculous woman over the phone, you see, it's a societal problem. The woman over the phone was also not helping matters. And if the guy knew that he would be compensated, then he wouldn't be hanging around there, exposing himself to danger, and be talking to that. I mean, you can imagine. I'll take it to my generator house. So this whole thing, I think we should keep making it trend because we know nothing is going to happen. The police is going to be quiet on this. Let us ensure that we keep talking about it because one of the problems I have with Nigeria is when we talk about something for a while, we let it go. The next thing comes, it takes over, and we move on. And that is why things are not being corrected. If you want to scream, you don't just scream. You scream until things change. That is the only way we can also solve some of these problems. We keep screaming until it changes. We keep retweeting or reposting, talking about it until we make enough noise to shake things. But the problem is by tomorrow, you'll see everybody has moved on. One little thing will come up and we will all move on. And then tomorrow another lawmaker will do another one. So there is no justification. There's no reason. There's no reason why that man acted that way. Because even I just talked about Femi Fani-Kayode. It's in their DNA. It's in their MO. They don't. There are no bodies. They don't have anything to work on. Do you know who I am? I'm the senator. And when did being a senator be anything or become anything? So it is unnecessary self-importance, and it is a Nigerian thing. Even on social media, we see it every day. Unnecessary self-importance. We attribute so much to being whatever we think we are. Humility is gradually fading away. And then a lot of us are not humble. A lot of us are not humble. A lot of us are waiting to steal that thing that we condemn. If given the opportunity, many of us will take it, will act that same way. Like Area Father just mentioned. So, as we speak about that man, like I will say again, and this will be my last submission, we should all do a self-reflection. Because most of us are guilty of it, if not all of us. It's a societal problem. Because there are people defending that man. Some people are defending that man. I'll leave it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam Integrity, for that. Thank you. Well, I'm just smiling because I mean, where do you really start when you look at the situation in the country? The primary takeaway thus far is based on the rule of law. That's just my understanding from everything everyone have been saying up to until now. If we have a society where the rule of law prevails and everyone acts accordingly and you are penalized immediately for doing something stupid, I think that pride will go. But the question is, how do we get there? It's important we continue with this line of conversation because eventually we will get there. My hope, dream, and aspiration is just to make sure that
we don't pass on a rotten system to the next generation to fix. But I'll keep it at that. Barrister Juliet, you are more or less our legal consultant tonight, so please feel free to chip in anytime. I saw you raising up your hand. Go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah, you took it from where I wanted to come from, where you said how would the rule of law, how would there be an implementation? Because it doesn't matter what you do. For me as a fish farmer, you won't disrespect me, because we all know, like we have said earlier, we all know what is wrong and what is right. We should, whatever we find our hands doing, we should do it well. If you're an Uber driver, if whatever you are, you do it well with so much integrity, because it is your means of survival and it's what you're doing. So even in saner climes, even if it was an Uber driver or someone who picks the dump, someone who is working in a corporate organization would dare not disrespect such a person, because there are laws that backs it up. So whatever people find their hands doing, there's something about Nigerians. We know how to segment certain professions. Who definitely there'll be somebody to pack the dump. There'll be somebody to make fish feeds. There'll be somebody who will pack the dump, the chicken dump. There'll be somebody who would rear the cattle. That's what makes society. And for me, I feel like you said it. How the question should now go to become, how do we have a society whereby we implement our laws? Because even in saner climes, almost everybody has good and bad in them. The only things that keeps us all in check is because there are laws in place. Whoever you think that would be a saint may not be a saint at a certain point in time, because there is a law to regulate such person's actions. And that is why laws are in place even from the times of old till now. And how can we get to a point whereby there should be laws that will put us all in check, that will not break the traffic light to the tiniest of offense that seems insignificant right now in Nigeria? Those should be the question, because as it is today, the chaos, the happenings has made almost everyone mad, just like our husband has gone mad again. The Nigerian people have gone mad totally because of the breakdown in our law and order. The question that should now be on every of our lips is, how can we be sanctioned? How can we be policed? How can we be put upright? How can we be in check? That every of our actions now we know, because there are certain things you dare not try, because while our people are thriving in other climes, the jackpot syndrome is because there is law and order, no other thing. I think we are so much interested in our elections in good roads, lights, streets, this one, security. The thing should be, in addition to all this, how can you all keep us on our toes, not by abusing us, including yourself who are electing? How can we keep you and I, everyone together in check? Those are the things. How do you want to go there and make sure that we all, as we are sitting as a cabal or caucus in our respective chamber as a senate or whatever, how will we make sure that even us were policed? That is how we will have a system. Other than that, if the conversation keeps going around good roads, lights, without having to say, because it's not just going to actually just be breakdown in the roads or whatever, lights and all. It's what it is today. The breakdown in social contracts, the breakdown in business. Nowadays, people, if you owe someone 100,000, 50,000, the person will not even bother to even go and challenge it, because the other person may even walk free. Even if the person is not even richer than the other one. The thing is just, it's a complex problem. Everything, like you've all said, has gone back to rule of law, whereby the three arms will function well. And the most important arm that even regulates society is even the arm that is not even an elected office, which is the judiciary, who should stand and challenge the people that will always come and go. A judicial officer is someone that, until he lives till 70, is a law officer till almost death. He will always be called for advice. The judge will always be called for advice, even after he leaves as a retired judge. This is where we should get to. So those people, what are they doing? The legal system. And it's so unfortunate that even our legal practitioners have become not just, they are almost leaving the practice because of the deteriorating system. We don't have advocates with zeal anymore. We don't have advocates with passion, because it starts from the young graduates who leaves the call to law school and then go into the bar, into the bench. This is where the problem lies. How can we have people, but Even the Nigerian people, how do we sensitize them, sanitize the society that they don't understand that the law itself is the one that engineers our society. But now you see them, they even talk. I don't know, it's a mental problem. It's deep. It's deep, because if you can have lawyers, people who are in the bench challenging the status quo, if you come to my bench, but the thing is, even they themselves are afraid. The way we are even living right now in Nigeria, even some of them are even afraid. You now see some of them, nobody's justifying their crimes. But how do we have an harmonization? And it still falls back to the people, because only the people that will tell them, oh God, George, if you do not do it, we as a people will come and devour you. And it's not joke. It's not joke. We will devour you. How will we devour you? We don't know. But we are not threatening you, but we will devour you, because you are part of our problems. So these are some of the conversations we should start having, because why these people are doing whatever they are doing is all boils down to what it is. The crackdown in laws, everything. And you see Nigerian people will still side them. You still side them. It's just so unfortunate. We just have to have laws, because in other places you don't disrespect a dump carrier. You don't, because you will go for it. You will go for it. We should stop looking down on professions. Everything is honorable. Everything is on. Even when at a young age, when I was even selling jewelries in the market, honorably, because that's what I do during my holidays when I come back from school. You dare not disrespect me, because I've already mentally, I've positioned my mindset to understand that whatever we do it as at the time being. And what it said that, what was this Bible verse? Something about never despise your little beginning. We all must have little beginnings. We should all start understanding that we must have little beginnings, and it's honorable. This get rich quick, idolizing money. We've talked about this in the beginning of the conversation. It's just that some people just join later. All these things are part of the problem. But the finality is how, as a people, we should start asking ourselves, how can we get policed? How can we get put to our toes? Because that thing is lacking in the society. It is lacking, and it's making everybody mad.
Can I go, or is anybody going?
Think right. You hold on, please. Hold on. You just committed an offense on the 1MMC platform. You wait your turn, please. And may I remind you that we are broadcasting live right now on Njenje TV as well. So we have a wider audience. So please hold your peace until you are called. Barrister Juliet, I would like to thank you once again for that last submission. Now, it just occurred to me that what is happening in Nigeria is actually gradually getting to you as a person. I can't recall the last time I heard you speak with so much anger about the situation. You always choose your words carefully, and you are always very, very coordinated, but obviously it's getting on you. And that's exactly the kind of anger that I expect every Nigerian to be exercising right now. Let's put aside, whoever we might be, whatever we might have achieved in life, but look at the collective and common objective of saving that country, given the situation right now. We must start having that open conversation with each other and with our family, with our friends, that look, things are not going in the right direction. And it's going to take our collective effort to correct it. So definitely we'll continue the conversation as well, But thank you very much for that, Barrister Juliet. Mr. Kachi, I'll get back to you. I'll circle back to you. Just give me a moment. And let's have Mr. Kachi, because he's been here for quite some time. And then we'll circle back to you, Will, okay? Think right. You go after Will, okay? So, Mr. Kachi, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Tony, and the rest of the panel. There are a few takeaways from the incidents that happened, and it actually calls for continuous sober reflection, because we've been reflecting. over what has befallen this part of humanity, our segment called Nigeria. Let's be clear on one point. It's very easy to summarize everything under collective behavior. You know, maybe this is the way Nigerians behave, or this are, you know, the ways people are likely to behave if they were Nigerians. Yeah, even if we're a kingdom of devils, all of us, but within that kingdom, there should be hierarchy. And any notion of hierarchy places responsibility and accountability on the people in the upper echelon. Make no mistake about that. So it's very easy to relapse into, well, everybody's doing it. Let's search our conscience. Yes, we have to. That's where it starts. But over and above that, there are people who must take the first responsibility. Now, what happened between these two, the driver and the senator, could have happened between any two Nigerian out there in the street, and people would just ignore it. They could even fight, tear their shirts, and do whatever. But that is not the scenario. The scenario is because somebody who is entrusted with public responsibilities involved. That's what we are talking about here. We're not talking about what every Nigerian is likely to do. We are talking about somebody that has been reposed the confidence of the people. If he were really chosen by the people to become a senator, that comes with responsibility, respect from the people who, well, we can presume elected the person, but we know that's not how things work in Nigeria. So let's get that point very clear, that we have every right to expect that people in the upper echelon of responsibility should be held accountable before the rest of the people in the land. That said, the second thing which I find very, very frightening, I don't know how that has been normalized in Nigeria. A statement like, I'll deal with you and I'll waste you and nothing happens. And believe me, that is not an empty threat, because that is what is happening. You go to many police stations, especially those who are responsible for
Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth connected.
just to test what I'm saying, just enter a bus or a public transport, and maybe the driver have managed to have all the papers. Somewhere along the line, the police stops, and then the driver was trying to prove that all the documents are correct. It will be the same Nigerians inside the vehicle telling, settle them now, settle them, make we they go. So when you have people with that kind of mindset who are not ready to see things through, we can all come here and get our high BPs, maybe to boost for some people who have low BP, or if you have a high one, to include your drugs, because it is really, really, so sad what is happening. And what else can we do? We pray that a day comes when Nigerians get angry enough. For now, I'm not seeing that. And we pray that time comes soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kachi. Thank you so very much equally for joining the space. Now, I recall that you are an individual who has walked the corridors of the United Nations. Diplomat. The question I have for you is, knowing fully well that for a functional or a society to function properly, as they actually alluded to, the rule of law should be the basis of any functional society. Help me to understand, or rather, help us to understand why an essential commodity within the United Nations to pay more attention to adherence to the rule of law in societies before they are given any form of recognition. Shouldn't that be something to be considered at such a world or global body? Because that is essentially what is happening in most societies around the globe and in Nigeria in particular. Can you help us to understand that?
Well, whether you mention rule of law or whatever, it absolutely amounts to nothing without implementation. Law is as strong as the will to implement it. The political will and intentionality is very crucial to whatever law you may have. You can write the best of laws, and at the end of the day, if it is not implemented, then it's no use. And remember, people who on whose shoulders is the burden of implementing this, unless, and it's very rare to find this kind of people, especially where there are no proper checks and balances, unless these people really meant to do good, it will be difficult to get them to follow the dictates of the law. They will find a way. You know the Nigerian situation. Tell Nigerians that clearly what is clearly stated in the constitution that if you don't win with Abuja, however it is carved, anything they can twist it upside down. So when they tell you this is what the law interprets, how are you going to go against it? And remember, the United Nations respects the sovereignty of every country. You have to, remember that. And there is limits to what they can do within the purview of their empowerment, the mandate of um, the charter enabling it. Still, everything revolves around what is known as the ega omnes, which tries to respect the sovereignty of every country. That's why sometimes You can see things going wrong. The highest they can do is to mount a peacekeeping, organization. Presence. That's the much you can get. That's because you have to respect the integrity, unless where there is serious violations, and then who determines what is violation? What are the indices that will be on the table before you say this has happened? Even to define what is genocide today is very elusive. So this problem has been there, and it serves some people's um, interest. Don't think sometimes when we call on America or Britain to come and stay with us, that's nonsense because at that level, people's first interest is the foreign policy interest of their various countries, which may not be interested whether you really die or live, unless their commercial interest is to be affected. Maybe they have a business interest in Niger Delta, and this fracas is going to disrupt their normal activities in that area, and that will cut supplies, which will in turn affect the market. It's all about selfishness. The whole world is embroiled in this, but they have a polished way of doing it, and that's why um, the rest of us there, we still raise our voice. We still tell them um, uh, what they do that is not okay. We make our voices heard. Some are also compromised. Um, they work with the foreign agencies to sabotage their own country. Do that very well. But if you're standing there and you're not sponsored by any government, you are there because you for the cause of justice. Then there are certain things you would not, accept. Like in the Nigerian situation, it's unfortunate, but we know it. We're not free. You may claim you have independence, but you're only deceiving yourself. That's just the truth. Whether we like to believe it or not, either to our terror or to our consolation, the fact is that you are not independent, so to say. Because if you are, by now, your country should look like Dubai. Nothing less, nothing, that's the way it should look. But unfortunately, we're into this triangle of it, whereby we're being affected from outside and internal collaborators. That is the fact. Well, that's where we are. And the United Nations have a policy uh, based on what a very good man, uh, um, that the second um, Secretary General, very good man, died mysteriously. Um, he said United Nations was not created to bring heaven on earth, but to prevent it from descending into hell. And you should also know that the United Nations is an Orwellian construct um, designed for the interest of those who were triumphant during the Second World War. That's why, for all the talk of democracy, it doesn't have an internal democracy. You have five superpowers who can override all the nonsense you've been talking about. So that tells you um, you better devise something from within if you want to succeed, than waiting for anybody from outside, unless there is something really big to gain before they can do that. They don't just normally do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy, for your thoughts. Much appreciated. Craig, please hold your thought for a second. I'll circle right back to you. But let me have Will, and he's rejoined. We'll circle back. But wait, before you go, let me big shout out to Maz okay, for helping us to broadcast this space on the TV. because we have a much wider audience on the platform. Listening and taking in a whole lot of information, both from our legal consultant here, Barrister Juliet. We really appreciate you being here and sharing your thoughts on very important. Will, over to you, really quickly. We start right.
Right. So yeah, um, let me start off this way. I don't know how many of us that saw that trending video at a, I don't know if that was football, American football stadium or something like that, where there's this white and a black guy that had an altercation, and the black, why at first was like they were arguing, and all of a sudden, like the white guy stopped talking, and the black guy went ballistic, yelling in his face. And then someone tapped the white guy, and the white guy just turned, and then he looked at the black guy, he smiled, and just shook his head a bit and walked away. And at the end of the day, when people started, because that kind of caught people, the way the white guy behaved in that scenario, because he decided to, be the matured guy in that case. And the way he behaved and everything kind of, got people interested in who is this guy. Guess what? At the end of the day, they discovered that this guy, one, I don't know if he is or he was or he still is. So they discovered that he's a military ranger. And those of you that know about the military, that particular part of those people are dead. I mean, he belongs to a part of the military. I don't know if he's still there now, who are like, trained to be lethal weapons to begin with, right? And then on the other hand, he's also a boxer, in fact, a professional boxer. I don't know if he's still in the professional boxing profession. So, but there were videos, there were evidence that this guy had that fight. If that fight had taken place, if that guy had not walked away and smiled and walked away the way he did, and that altercation leads to a fight, there's the possibility of someone ending up dead or brutally injured in that stadium. I think, between those two people, right? Uh, why did I bring up this story? I brought up this story because I just wanted to briefly talk about escalation. And this is where, I was calling it pride at first, but thank you, Black African Panther, for that, awesome correction. I would go with that arrogance, right? So that is, arrogance comes in. If that white guy had been so arrogant that, how can I mean, this black guy, I have my right and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, like I said, that guy was a deadly weapon. I don't know of the black guy. I'm sure people would have looked him up, but for that particular white guy, he was a deadly weapon. He could have done something to that guy or either kill him there or something. And he knows himself. And that's why he was like, no, he's not going to do anything. And so I brought up this because the rep guy, the House of Rep guy, was, absolutely wrong. He should face, the wrath of the law. He did battery. He said a lot of wrong things, threat to life, everything. He was absolutely wrong. And and at all there's still any more come of rule of law in that country, that guy should really go in for it, right? Or be fined some huge sum. I hope that the both guy has a good lawyer. So that aside, I'm laying this so that you guys will not misunderstand where I'm going, because I'm talking about de-escalation. arrogance. So when it comes to de-escalation, I think the responsibility, and I still stand on it, the responsibility lies on both people. In fact, including the third party, who called the lady on the phone? Was it the dishonorable member or the boat driver? I can't remember. But whoever that was called on the phone that asked him to deliver that thing there also did not take the path of the escalation. And that's why the whole thing got to where it got to. Now, why did I say so? It is not arrogance, right? People do have a bad day. The boat guy probably also had a bad day. I don't know. The dishonorable member, I know, of course, on a good day, you have, that pride already is there. That's, arrogance is already there. And then you don't even know how it was also going, right? To even, add to the whole thing, right? And the case here, obviously, like, Barrister Juliet stated, listening to that conversation, well, I don't think the package in question is something one person can. I don't think it's one heavy package or something like that, right? Even if it is communication, so that is where arrogance comes into play. Communication. How was the communication between these two people? How did the whole thing escalate to that level, right? So that's where that's what I'm trying to point out. That there's that burden of, like, sometimes there's nothing wrong in, being the big guy and sometimes swallow this our arrogance a bit and just avoid trouble, right? So, like I said, I'm not trying to say I'm not putting blame, especially when it comes to what happened. That guy, or whoever he is, should be dealt with. But still, when it comes to the I still feel that the other guy refused to go pick up that thing from the car as the boat guy wanted. If the boat guy had, like, okay, take your package, can I have my money now? You understand? All this would have been avoided. You understand? So I just feel that arrogance always, in most cases, just don't let us just we need to just humble down a bit in that country. Just humble down. You understand? So things, there are a lot of things that if that thing has, let me even put it this way, if one of those two, one of them had a knife, or one of them decided to go ballistics, because when people get angry, sometimes they become mad and they are crazy. They don't even think right and things like that. One of them decides to be as high level stupid, right, and decides to stab or shoot or just do something stupid to someone. If life is lost, life is lost. So sometimes we just have to work on that part. I understand people are crazy, a lot of things are going wrong, but if there's anything you can do to de-escalate issues, please, there's no point in, like, allowing, because this one thing, I'm just looking at it holistically. You understand? I don't want emotion to get the hold of me. And that's why I'm like, look, this man has done wrong because he obviously went into battery and he said very, very despicable things. You understand? But I'm trying to say that this whole thing was avoidable. And when it comes to it being avoidable, the both of them are responsible. Because if that guy had given him his package, this wouldn't have happened. And if the stupid, the stupid dishonorable member hadn't, allowed his arrogance to overthrow or get the hold of him or whatever, he won't be talking about all this. So communication. And lastly, I want to point out there's that conversation that we all missed. Did you hear where he said that I won't ask my police to beat you, I will beat you myself? What does that tell you? You were talking about the rule of law and everything. What does that tell you about our law enforcement officers? That alone is an indictment of the police. So you mean somebody can just ask you, oh, beat up this person. And you will just start beating the person because the person who asked you to do that is, is a politician or something. So what does that say about rule of law? What does that say about our, what you call it, our law enforcement officers? It is the problem. So that people are missing that part. How can you ask somebody, oh, so which means he could actually do that? And people do that. Let's not even pretend. People in Nigeria, they pay police to beat up people, to arrest and beat up people, right? So all these are very, very wrong things that I don't know how long it's going to take, but these things needs to actually, start being corrected. It's like a banana republic right now. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, really. But thank you so much. Thank you. You spoke so eloquently about the state of the nation and the rule of law. Again, you realize at the end of the day, that's exactly what we are all driving at. That's basically what everyone is talking about. And I still ask the same question. How do we make it? But I'm pretty sure this conversation is going to keep regarding how we make it right. So let's just move on to the next speaker, please. Uh, think right. Go ahead, right? And then we'll go to Epiphany. Please stand by, okay? Think right. Go ahead. Are you there?
Hi, Tony. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I do apologize for butting in the other time. I was just, I don't know what's it called? Who is going to speak next or something like that? But sorry about that. Now, I don't know if I've spoken a few places today. Now, you know, when we were born, I've said this few times, we were beaten up by our parents. We go to the primary school, secondary school, teachers are flogging us. I can remember one of the teachers would give me a cane, to beat up my classmates. All because maybe I score 80 and they score 40. And if I don't do it properly, he will give me an example in my palm. And then when I'm beating them up, I am actually crying doing it because I play football with these people. I love them. Then when I get to the uni, lecturers will threaten me because they want my girlfriend. They will threaten me, they will do whatever they want to me. You have built up a person that violence, slave master relationship is not new to the schemers that makes that person up. Yeah. If I'm lucky, I join the police. When I join the police, I go through the training of tyranny, as well. And then what happens? I leave that, I join a professional course of torturing people, of saying, Mr. Juliet, you talk a lot about, rule of law. But I join a police that, they will tell you to pay you up, you know, the police of the DPO release some money for a wedding of his son. So people go out and arrest people at random, bring them back and let them pay for, to bail them. And if you don't have anybody to come for you, might spend few days there. I have experienced this myself. You want to write, a statement to the police station. You say, oh, you are talking nonsense. You're not going to leave this place today. If you are a female, you are in trouble because you are going to be molested by the police. See, we don't know how things come to be, but this is how we build people up in Nigeria. And that's why you see people, you steal a phone in Oja Erekeson, people will put tire on you and burn you because beating, violence, part of their life since they were born. It's part of their life since they were born. You know, and there's the problem here. I'm not saying everybody is like that. Obviously, all of us went through that. Most of us, but many of us We'll then carry that all our life. We join the military. You see somebody wear camel, you ask them to sit in the gutter and rub their head on a very dirty, stagnant water because you are just wearing a military. You are just lucky to be in the military. You join politics. You are there to threaten people like that. Honorable member of the House, lower house of Nigeria. Yeah, he said, "I will kill you." Nobody would say anything. I just want to give it to that boat driver, the last speaker. He made a lot of points, but I don't agree with that one. No. That guy was very calm. A man who has a family was slapped 3 times, and he's still trying to explain himself on that situation. Oh my God! Now listen, you have just slapped me. I'm only doing my job. I don't know what kind of de-escalation you want to have. That nerve was very good. Only the ones we watched. I think when he spoke to Very Dark Man, he was able to tell us a little bit more when I watched the video today. That guy should be praised. Oh my God. Oh my God. And when Pachi said something, he said, we're not talking about ourselves here. We are talking about people that are saddled with responsibility. We are paying this big boy. Yeah, that big boy is using Nigerian phone to feed his family. Yeah, we are paying for fuel. That must be very painful for that boat driver. It's like I have a company and I'm paying somebody, and that person is talking to me like that. That's how it looks like. Taxpayers' money. And you are threatening the people that pay that tax to put you in that place to come out where you're sitting down chilling. It's very painful, guys. But this is where we find ourselves. We thank God for social media because these things we're seeing has been going on. I've seen a situation in the little village of Ekiti where I come from, where politicians came to treat one of their own, and the doctor on duty was beaten up to stupor. I've seen that, but there's no social media. And I've said something to somebody today. I said, some people brought Bible, some people brought Quran, some people brought the local one. But there's something working for Nigeria right now. Because these things, you're not going to see our religious leaders talk about it. You're not going to see our traditional leaders talk about this. They cannot talk anymore. But there is a place we can talk, guys, and that's the social media. Thank God for that. And that's why you see that guy get some justice a little bit, not in the court of law. Guys, I have so much to say, but I'll leave it there. Other people want to speak. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody.
Right? Let me tell you something you may not have realized, because this is the one we always allow everyone. We don't time anything unless you really from the subject matter. That's why someone will come in to tell you, okay, now slow down. It's perfectly okay for you to go ahead if you have other points or other ideas you want to share. Just wanted to let you know, okay? Because I believe this is the first time you're speaking on the platform. Okay, so that's all right. So let's go real quick to Epiphany. I know you've been waiting. I hope you're still there with us. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, good evening, everyone. I just want to speak about how bad our politicians are in
I
Nigeria.
can't hear Epiphany. Can anyone hear him or her? I don't know that.
Yes,
Can you
I
hear
can
me
hear
now?
him. I can hear him.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Then I'll just drop down and come right back.
Okay, fine. I just want to speak about how bad and cruel our politicians are in Nigeria. This see those animals, first of all. Imagine the Casablanca guy calling the cabman a rat. Yes, they see us as rats, animals, monkeys, anything that you think of. We're animals to them. They don't care about us. They just treat us as they treat every animal, not even dogs. Dogs are domestic animals, they are pets. Imagine slapping a guy 3 times just because he came to deliver something for you. Okay, I watched a part when the guy was speaking to a very man, and he said when he drove down to the man's house, he doesn't know the man. He saw someone sitting just by his car, and hello, sir, hello, sir. The man did not reply to him, and he called the number. It escalated really fast. The man said, "Are you stupid? Are you mad? Can't you see me here? Bring down my package." No one, no one. I don't think I can bear that. No one will still go ahead and bring down that package. This is not right. These are people we give our responsibilities to. These are people that will vote in if they are. They should behave well. They should. I don't see anything the man did that was wrong. He was very calm. He was very calm. You shouting at him, went ahead to slap him. Oh man, man, I can't take that. I really cannot take that. And he went ahead to say he will pay 50 million and he will delete him. That's a very big trade. He said again, call the commissioner of police, call him to come down here. Nothing will happen. This is a very big blow to the police of Nigeria. They use these people to work. They use them to beat up people, arrest people, and nothing will happen. Nothing. When he was out in the police station, he called. He called the DPO or DPO in charge of the case. He called the man through his phone to explain his own part first before coming down. And the IPO was trying to keep the case. This is just like what this is telling us that this case will not go anywhere. It will not go anywhere. Honestly, Nigeria, it will not go anywhere. They believe they are leaders and they rule the country and they make law. They and nothing will happen. They have so much power that it was them. And what what I'm trying to say is that keep feeding us and they don't even care about us. Imagine a man telling the inspector general of police that he would come and nothing would happen. A man who is a House of Rep member, someone that was given the responsibility to represent the people. Is this how you represent these people? Is this how you represent people of Abia State? Abba, precisely. We're talking about anchoring power. This man is just 44 years old. He's a youth. But see what the youth is doing. See what the youth is doing. How do we believe in yourself? How do we believe in youth? This is very wrong on all levels. On all levels. And I honestly want to put it to the Nigerian police. I want to see where this matter will end. I want to see where it will end. Because if it fails, if the Nigerian police fail to arrest this man as they have claimed, I'm seeing some news that he was arrested, which I don't believe. If the Nigerian police fail to arrest him, though I don't even have respect for the Nigerian police, but this would be like a total failure on their own part. This is absolutely nonsense. Nonsense. This could have never happened, honestly, because of slave. Because of his slave, just for you to pick up your your package somewhere that was like wasn't even just 2 steps from you, and you were telling him to bring it down for you. And should this guy look into it? Should he bow for you because he wants to give you a package? Talking about the woman who sent the package, talking about her, this is not customer service at all. It's not customer service. The man called you, and the first thing she said was, so he doesn't know who you are because of the gains she wants to make on the business. I don't think that makes sense either. She's someone that had that thing too. These are what we are saying about Nigerians. We don't care about ourselves. We just care about our pockets. This woman wanted to retain her customer. She couldn't see the truth. She just did not know what happened. She never asked what happened, what transpired. And the next thing was, I'm sorry, sir. He doesn't know who you are. This is honestly not true. Honestly. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for so many Nigerians going through this because this is happening, this is happening, and this will continue to happen because the laws are not working. The laws are not working. They make law, but they don't implement it. I give the mic. Thank you.
Think right. Thank you so much for that submission. They make the laws, but the laws are not properly policed and implemented. That's exactly what's happening in Nigeria. Because for any society to grow, it's got to be loved, respected, maintained. And for any democracy to thrive, based on the normal understanding of what democracy is, the right set of individuals with the right set of mindset to work for the people should be elected. But of course, we know the nature and state of our nation in Nigeria. The question I have is, how long should we continue to tolerate as a people? History brought us together under that geographical expression known as Nigeria. We cannot. How do we make it work for everyone? That is one question we should all ask ourselves. It all comes down to the rule of law. This is my final submission on behalf of the woman and on behalf of my minister, because we'll be shutting down in a few minutes. And I would like to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to join us tonight to talk about this incident that happened with a lawmaker disrespecting and pretty much assaulting a simple, humble man trying to earn a living. One sure thing we can all agree on is the fact that the rule of law in Nigeria, as it is non-functional because it can be at least most speakers, to a very large extent, all the speakers reference used in different words, of course. We have a country to save. We please start looking in the mirror and asking ourselves the hard questions. Am I doing everything in my capacity as a person to move my country forward? Because no matter where we are, home is home. It's as simple as that. On behalf of the one MC, I would like to thank each and every one of you again. Barrister Juliet, I see you dropped to the listener section. I don't know if you had network connectivity. Nevertheless, I would like to thank you on behalf of the One MC group for joining us tonight and guiding us through the legal framework as far as Nigeria is concerned, and helping us to know and redirecting us when we act as far as the law is concerned. It's been a beautiful evening hearing you, getting more and more educated about the possibility of a better country. For the first time, I say it again, because I don't know you personally, but I know you ran for office a couple of times, but I never heard you speak so emotionally about the state of the nation as I did. And that tells me a lot, because usually folks in the legal profession, they try to choose their words carefully, which you have been doing over time, and they always kind of try to stay within the framework of the law, so they don't, for whatever reason, you did that tonight. To a very large extent, where you expressed yourself as a citizen, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. So, first, Julia, before we call it a day on the One MC space tonight, I don't know if you have a final word, and I will just thank our guests. Go ahead.
We've said it all. We've said it all. We can't stop saying it. Thank you once again. I really appreciate the relevance which you all and the privilege you are giving to me to be on this space. I don't take it for granted. For me, each and every time I'm on this space and any other space is an opportunity to share out of my own wealth of knowledge and experience to the wider populace because it's what we owe our nation. And I'm so glad many of us here have said everything that is in line and in tune with our civic responsibilities. I hope and desire is that this metamorphosis into something great, the Nigerian people will wake up to the need that it affects us all more we do so for everything that concerns us. So I wish us all the best in our various activities, our endeavors. We'll conquer, we'll succeed over this evil, beat in our nation. God's willing. Thank you.
Thank you too, Barrister Julius. And I would equally like to let you know that I am hoping that you will stay the course and continue to pursue a political office because we really need people like you to help that make that country a better place. Do not give up, please. Do not give up. Thank you all so much. Will, your submission was wonderful tonight. You nailed a whole lot of important points. Epiphany, catchy, magnific dude. I see you there. I think you're busy tonight. That's why you couldn't come up. And Kadede, I appreciate each and every one of you. Kadede, well, this is your avenue. So no need to. I appreciate you for that. Just kidding. Thank you all so much. And thank each and every one of you for joining us. The one of MC will be back again, of course. One thing we do Yes, we have a dog in this fight for a better country. That's just the bottom line. That's what we do at 1MC. And I would like to thank Magnific Dude for making this happen, of course, because he's the CEO of this avenue. And we will always be here and continue. Because as Saddam would say, saving that country is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We hand it over to the next person. Thank you all so much and enjoy the rest of your evening. Goodbye for now. Goodbye, Barrister Junior.